All right, what's going on, guys? Getting into this week's podcast, just going to talk real quick about a few things, and we'll get into bringing everybody in. So this week over at Redcon 1 for the weekend until Sunday at midnight, we have a 25% off discount code available, K925. Your free items, if you spend $50, there's going to be the K9 Veteran t-shirt, the red one there, along with a free hoodie. If you spend $85, you're going to get 2 t-shirts, both right there in the front, along with the hoodie. And then free shipping when you spend over $115. Now, they are going to have a percentage of the proceeds will be donated to Spike's K9 Foundation this weekend. All right. So also, real quick, Outclass Nutrition. There is 12 more days left to back this project on Kickstarter. They are at 2,153 of their $7,000 goal. So scroll down here real quick. Well, maybe I won't. I thought it was down here. There's many different ways that you can help back this project. Oh, I think if I click here, it'll show it. All right, so you can anywhere from donating $1 right at the top here. You can pledge however much you want, and then there's different packages on here from $7 up to $75 that you can help back that project. All right, so we'll go ahead and get the guys in here. Oh, Cory's gone. I see he's going to do his dramatic entrance.
No dramatic entrance.
My headphones died.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, man?
All right, so we're going to go ahead and introduce our guest of the week this week is Mr. Nick O'Hare himself. And then I'm going to let Cory run the rest of the show. As always, throughout, get your your mom wants a link to Outclass Nutrition. There is a link down in my description box for Outclass Nutrition, or just go to outclassnutrition.com or search on Kickstarter for kickstarter.com. If you search for just Outclass Nutrition, you can go there to back the project as well. How Kickstarter works, if you donate the money now and they don't meet their goal, you'll get that money back. But obviously, if they hit their goal, then you'll get your free items, or your not your free items, but your items for helping.
The ones you paid for.
Yeah, the one you just yeah. All right.
There we go. Let me show it. God damn.
Cory,
I am having technical issues out the yin yang today. It's typical. I know. I'm trying to be professional with Nick here.
I'm a first timer and I'm having less issues than you are.
That is true.
Yeah, that's because we started before you had your issues, or after you had your issues.
Then you should have had yours figured out.
I'm not a pro. I'm terrible at this. I don't have an IT girl with me.
I do.
But yeah, so welcome, Nick. This is everybody. Obviously, well, if you're in Michigan and you compete in Strongman, you know who Nick O'Hare is right off the bat. But for the people that are not, why don't you go ahead and just give us like a short little introduction of yourself?
Nick O'Hare, 90 kg strongman. I have competed at 80 kg as well at OSG Worlds, but just strongman trying to go to the big show and do big things.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so starting out from my knowledge of you, I know you started out with MMA was the first thing that I know of, and then you went on to do CrossFit after that, or was it something you did at the same time?
No, I've kind of always been in the gym since high school, and then I got into MMA. I basically got in my first fight in my life on the street, and got punched in the face a few times, and realized I could take a hit. And I said, "Well, since I can take a hit, I'll try MMA." And I'm a very competitive person, as most people know. So, I got trained up and started fighting. Did all right. Got offered to go pro in that, but it's not a lucrative sport by any means with the risk to reward. And my face is too pretty to get punched too many times, so I didn't want to go down that road. So that led me, kind of just got back into fitness in general, and then I found CrossFit with some friends, and then started doing that and became a level 1 and ran a gym and got to do that at a decent level for a little while. I did some Pure Michigan invitationals and whatnot. Never made it to regionals or anything like that, but I think if I had pushed it a little bit, I had what it could have probably made it to regionals as like a team or something like that. And then when I moved up to the tip of the thumb, I was still basically training CrossFit in the gym with my wife and I. And then I met somebody up here who was in fitness, and he liked Strongman, Ben Sutton. And once I met Ben, he had all the implements, the stones, logs, yokes, all that stuff. And I got into it and kind of just carried over really well from MMA. My static wasn't there, but the moving events were really well. Just loading, just work type events suited me really well because I am a construction worker as well. So just kind of fit my type of movement. And I got into Strongman, and I met Dave Talisman, and I met Matt and you guys, and then I started competing. And Motor City was actually my first comp. I went open class 90 kg, first comp I ever went to. So that was 2017, I believe, was my first year. So then it gets a little crazy in the strongman realm from there.
So how would you say, like you started out with MMA and CrossFit, now would you say that mentality, like having that drive to be competitive and everything, that carries right over into strongman too? Would you say it's because I know like CrossFit, you could be on a team, and MMA, it's an individual sport, but a lot of times I notice like the big guys have like their team of guys that they go with. Now, like strongman, you're on your own. There is no team. Is that like a mentality that you carried over? Or?
Definitely the individual sport thing is carried well for me. Actually, I didn't mention this. In between all of that, I did a lot of obstacle course races, like Tough Mudders and things like that. I was I've probably ran about, 50 5Ks and a few longer races. I ran 2 Tough Mudders in one day, which is 23 or 13 miles each. So my endurance wise, that stuff, but individual, to your point, individual type athletic stuff was kind of my jam, like MMA, individual running, individual, I had your fight team and stuff like that. But in CrossFit, you do it in a community, but it's still mostly individual. And then now here I am in Strongman, which is individual. So I'm just a very competitive person. And I just love the feel of pushing myself and seeing what I'm capable of, and sticking to what I call my claim to fame. Most people don't know this, but I've been able to stay injury free through all of my higher end competing, despite a few minor setbacks. Actually, the only time I really got hurt was in MMA. I had a couple of issues there, but I fought 4 months after I blew out my elbow. So.
Yeah, do you think anything from MMA is going to carry, if you had like you said, your elbow injury fighting, has that hindered you at all in your strongman and other things, or is this something you haven't noticed yet?
As far as the injury?
Yeah, like you said, like your elbow, you hurt that, basically fighting, you're going to get beat up, like you said. That's why you don't. And have you noticed any effects from those over the years? So
the only things that really have affected me is my left arm. I can't fully lock out my left elbow. So as many people know, I'm a split jerker. So I have my tricep strength has been I've had to keep that up in order to keep my elbow locked, for stuff like that. But I did separate my right shoulder. And recently I was kind of having some weird, I couldn't lock out the log on my right side for some reason. I couldn't figure it out. Well, if you look at my shoulder, this collarbone sticks up quite a bit higher than my other one. And I was able to figure it out. I'm very, so I just kind of kept dissecting, and I actually kind of figured it out. And I've been able to, since just a few weeks ago, I've been putting on pretty decent amount of weight on my log and my overhead pressing because I figured that out. But just soft tissue work, I won't let something hold me back. I will dig at it and I will use every resource. I'm not afraid to reach out to Squat University or some of the best guys that are into this stuff and talk to them and ask them and read, and just kinesiology and whatnot. I just appreciate the movement of body, so I won't stop working at it. But those two things have had little factors, but I wouldn't say that there are any weaknesses to me. They haven't stopped me from PRing or held me back in any way that I haven't been able to figure out.
Yeah, that's a good thing to have too. Especially like you said, you dissect things and to go into like really detailed on to figure out why your shoulder hurts, instead of just saying like, oh, my shoulder hurts. Like you're the type of guy that's going to sit there and research, watch YouTube videos, and learn everything you can about the shoulder. At least that's what I've noticed in the time I've known you. I kind of do the same thing where if there's something I don't know, I'm going to sit there and just focus on it until I know everything that there is to know about it.
Well, usually, if you got an injury, the point of the acute pain is not usually the cause of that pain. It's usually somewhere else. So like I was having some lateral extension issues in my delt there. And so I started digging around in the back and I got into my like rhomboids, into my teres minor and stuff like that. And it just opened right up and it was just like instantly figured it out, it's, your first thought is, go to here and grind it out and try to figure it out. Well, that's not where it's at. It's like your hips, a lot of it's psoas and piriformis and stuff like that. It's not what you think it is. Usually it's something that's causing it to react like that, or a weakness or a muscle imbalance or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. Because with helping Matt working on his mobility, a lot of the things that he was telling me that you taught him, I was like, I watched that on Squat University like a week ago. That's where I started to watch it, and I was just like, I'm like, Nick must watch a lot of the Aaron Horing or Horschning guy. Like,
I have his new book. I haven't had a chance to read it yet because I'm still doing some training in my personal training classes. But I have his new book, Saving Milo. There, and pretty excited to read that when I get a chance. Or Rebuilding Milo, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to get I don't have his new one. I think the old book, just the Squat University manual that he had on the website. After watching the YouTube videos, I wanted to get that one just to learn some more. Especially because like you were talking about the mobility issue, like I always had a tough time grabbing the bar on squats, and I always thought it's because my shoulders weren't flexible enough. Well, it turns out it's just my lats are over tight. And you never would have thought that having a tight lat would make it to where you can't bring your arms closer together on a bar.
Right. I've actually had it to the point where my flexibility was a hindrance in my strength training. So I've had to actually fight that backwards. I was like, I would say hyper flexible. I used to clean in CrossFit, you do a lot of clean and jerks and stuff like that. And I could hit bottom so well, but I would butt wink like crazy and it would just tip me forward. And it was just because of my hyper, I could beat the bar down because I was super flexible. I could put my butt right to the floor, but it just put me in a subjective position that wouldn't allow me to get back up because the weight would be so far forward at that point. So having to go the opposite way and kind of learn how to control yourself in your descents and things like that too is kind of I've had to learn that as well. So it can have its drawbacks too.
Yeah. I noticed, like you said, you just got your ISSA certification. I see you posted online. What made you want to look into becoming a personal trainer and strength and conditioning coach?
So fitness is like my number one thing. Outside my family, fitness is like just a huge part of my life. I just I enjoy it. And they, what's the saying? Like if you don't have to work a day in your life, if you do something you enjoy, something along those lines. And that's just something I have a lot of love for is fitness and kind of the bettering of the body. I like to coach. I coach all my.
Oh.
Leg spike.
Oh, a little bit of a freeze. Am I still here?
You're still here.
Uh-oh.
At least he froze with a good face.
Yeah, I don't think he could probably make a bad face. Let's see if he backs out or does he.
I'm waiting for the message to pop up.
Wonder if his network had to like reset or something.
I don't know if it's anything like when mine froze. I could hear everything you guys were saying, but you couldn't hear a single thing I was saying. I was all like, "Hey, I'm still here." Oh, there he goes.
He's probably resetting his network. It's all right. It gives me a chance to write down some more questions.
There you go.
You don't have any?
I haven't had I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this one, unfortunately. I've been crazy busy.
Yeah, I know. Same. I've been since this is springtime's coming back up. I own a landscaping company, and this is my busy season starting. So I'm going from doing nothing for the last couple months to being the busiest I've ever been.
Whoa.
There we go. Good.
We got you.
Sorry, guys.
No, that's fine.
I don't even know what happened. The IT girl back to the rescue.
I got to give me someone on staff.
Playing virtual freeze tag.
So I don't know where you guys lost me at, but
right at the beginning.
Okay. So what were we at?
I said, what made you want to get your ISSA certification?
Yeah, just my love for training and coaching. I coach all my kids, most of my kids' sports. My wife and I both do. We just I coached CrossFit and trained that. We had our level 1s in that. Just a love for athleticism and sports and moving and kinesiology, and just in my next life I'll be a chiropractor or something of that sort. You know, I really like that type of thing. I like learning from coaching and seeing what other people can do with their bodies, learning that everybody's not the same and their mechanics are not the same. And, you know, you can't give one cue that works for everybody all the time. You know, you got to change up things and dissect people's different movement abilities and try to make what they have work best for them, knowing that what might be best for me is not going to always work for them as well. But I got a few other things to certs I want to get. I'm working on a yoga instructor certification, a strength and conditioning. I have my powerlifting and CPT right now, and I think I have one for sports nutrition as well. I have a decent amount of knowledge in most of those areas, but I just don't have that resume thing, you know, to put there too.
So what's your long-term plan after you get the certifications? Are you going to do online coaching? Are you going to do an in-person only type, or do you have any plans yet?
I live in Harbor Beach, Michigan. If you don't farm or fish or hunt, they're not really interested, and that's fine. You know, there's a few people I will definitely like to train with here locally that would be interested, but primarily I'm probably have to do some online coaching and training, which I like. Actually, it's kind of a neat challenge because you can only see what you can see, and I kind of actually enjoy that challenge of that. So I think that would be a good fit for me to start and kind of build from there. I'd love in the future just to lean towards training 100% of the time, kind of start my own business and you know, create programming and train and get recovery wise. And I like to take things out of the box of a basic training routine. Again, I like to be injury free, so I want people to move mechanically well so that they can stay injury free and hopefully perform at a high level, or as high a level as they would like to perform. I wouldn't say that I don't want to corner myself, but I do prefer like the performance side of things and going towards that. You know, I wouldn't mind helping somebody on their weight loss journey or something like that too, but I really like performance type stuff or sports specific or things like that. I do, you know, hard body training, whatever, just real multifunctional to get you to a goal of some sort of whatever you're after, you know.
Mm-hmm. And then you have a coach right now helping you out, don't you?
Yep. I have a coach. My coach is Tyler Young, grade 8 performance. Recently just qualified for Clash on the Coast. And if many people that know Tyler is a short in stature guy, but man, he is strong as can be. You guys ever see some of his YouTube stuff or some of his videos? It's just incredible how much weight that man can move.
How long have you been with him?
So this will be 2 years. It's got to be over 2 years now, but you know, through this year, it'll be probably about 2.5 years. So funny story, Tyler, we competed in 80 kilo together at OSG Worlds in 2018. And, you know, Tyler's a 231 now, and he's like 5'0", maybe, I don't know, 5'3". And he was an 80 kg guy, and he was strong. And he will tell you that like going to 80 kg wasn't like best for him in his strengths. He was better as a 90 k, but he looked amazing at 80 kg because of his size. But you know, now he's a 231 guy, And I think he walks around right at like 225, 231. So he's not, I wouldn't say a true 231, but he's got no interest of coming down, and his numbers suffice him being a 231. So it's kind of cool to see. He's got one of the best log presses in the world, quite frankly. So he's in overhead pressing in general. So that was where the relationship came from. I wanted to work on my press. Well, this guy is one of the best there is. I kind of met him, so I kind of know him a little bit. So I reached out to him, and it's kind of right at the beginning stages of his starting his own training and coaching. And we kind of started working together, and I kept hitting PRs and getting stronger. So kind of just kept sticking with him. And then I've changed up a few. I did a powerlifting meet last year, and we trained for that. And he's got a pretty good total for that as well. So we did that together. And actually, the first time he hasn't coached me was when I just took this little hiatus here. I took a few months off just to let my body prep for this season, or be ready for this season. So, but yeah, Tyler and I, we've got some big plans for this year. So hopefully we both get our goals.
Now, do you have a nutrition coach too, or do you do all your nutrition yourself?
I do all my own nutrition. Matt knows this too. Data is data, and the more you learn from yourself, everybody's different. I give him some baselines, and he kind of got on some stuff and figured all that out and took what I said to him to heart and kind of learned from it, and then learned what he needed to do to make those small adjustments. That's kind of what I do too. I know, when it comes time to compete, I'll carb cycle. And carb cycling for me keeps me super efficient. It keeps me lean and vascular, which I like the aesthetic side of things as well. Go figure. But
I'm surprised you're still wearing your shirt at this point.
Whatever. If you guys pay me, or I could take it off, or that's on my OnlyFans.
Link in description.
Right. Got to talk about OnlyFans.
At least once.
Right. So yeah, no, I love my own nutrition. Another thing that I've kind of learned quite well is weight cuts, how to do water cuts and stuff like that. For Worlds, when I was 18, I was walking around at 205-ish, and I was cutting to 176 for that. So I didn't lose any strength whatsoever from it. I actually PR'd every time I've made significant cuts. I've always PR'd on comp day. So I found a way to do it and then recomp and still perform well at the same time. But some of that stuff comes back from my MMA days. My boxing coach was a U.S. ranked boxer, U.S. Olympic boxer, had pro fight contracts. So I got a good idea of how to do it from him. And I just kind of took it to where I needed to take it and kind of learn because of the different time frames, whether it's 24-hour or 2-hour or whatever, and use it best for static strength and to move and whatnot. And I'm still learning. I still figure out things that my body performs better on. Like, okay, I did great on this one. Well, then I try something different the next time and I do better yet, or I did worse. Okay, now I need to make that adjustment again for next time. I never settle for what I know works because there always might be something better.
Yeah. Do you focus on calories, or is it more of a macros type of thing, or do you for your diet that you write, do you follow I need to hit this many carbs, protein each day, or do you just kind of do I need to get 5 meals in?
So I'm very loose with it. I know now enough about my body, what I need to do. I can adjust I'll say calories, but because my macros stay fairly similar most of the time, but I know that I got to maintain 4,500 calories a day to keep my body weight where it's at right now. And if I need to cut, I can, knock off a few calories and my body weight will come right down, and I just make adjustments from there. I try not to cut too many if I don't have to. And usually as I get closer, I kind of up my cardio and everything else too with it. So it kind of just falls off because I'm burning more calories. In that process, as my training gets closer to the comp, I train a lot harder so that I'm ready. So I burn more calories through that. But no, I would say right now, because I kind of try to get my weight up. I was doing 75, probably 80% healthy, healthy calories. And then,
Oreos.
The Oreos, yeah, there you go, Oreos. So, that's a whole other podcast, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
we can talk about it, but that's like another.
That's what I was gonna say. Is this true or false that you base your weekly diet, on how many Oreos you can eat and how to eat around those?
I eat a significant amount of Oreos. I'm down to 2 packs right now. I just had 6 packs in my cupboard, and I'm down to 2 packs. So rations are getting low. So the kids don't get to eat as many right now as normal. So because they're mine.
We'll sort
sometimes
of Oreos. I got some more questions at the end about them.
Okay. No, I like to do nutrition for other people, and I can do some stuff with that. I like to experiment. I understand like the female body is different than the male body, and how they do it and how the hormones work with it and stuff like that. I'm hard to compare myself to anybody. I have an exceptional metabolism. I can eat a lot of food. I can do a lot of things, and I can eat Oreos and I get a 6-pack. I'm not. I don't know. I'm very fortunate in that. I'm getting older. I'm 37, and my body still wants to do that. So I'm fortunate that it's staying in that kind of shape. So.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, you're the only person I know that can like say, I'm gonna lose 30 pounds for this comp, and just like, okay. Like everyone else, like you, even with Matt, where it's just like, well, I'm gonna cut down to this, but as soon as I'm done, I'm going right back to 200, like instantly. And you're just like, yeah, I can lose 30 pounds, or I can gain 20 pounds for this comp, no big deal.
Well, I've reminded Matt and other people that, because I'm a 90 kg guy now, that if I needed to, I could go back down to 82 and a half. I can get there.
Jeez.
So no interest. I don't want to do it. I know what to do to get there, and I can still perform well at that. I know that I can be better and stronger at 90 kg now, and I've kind of brought my static strength up to that weight class, and it's just that much more enjoyable. Really, I'm got some interest in 105 only because I'd like to go to the Arnold at some point, and that's the jump from 176 to 105. So whether I try to be a 251 and cut down to 231, that'll never happen. But I'll be a light 105 guy if I can make it.
Yeah, so that kind of goes right along with what I was going to say next. You've done a lot of big comps, like you said, OSG, and you've done Michigan Strongest Man, and pretty much every local one you've done around here and won. What was your favorite comp to compete at?
Oh, geez. Oh, well, OSG was definitely humbling. When you say you're going to compete at Worlds, right? World's famous coffee, world famous this place, world's famous whatever. It's a subjective term. So when I went to Worlds, you're thinking, okay, cool. I didn't really look into everybody. I wasn't creeping on everybody's profile. And I got there, and I think there's 26 guys in our class, and I don't know, maybe 11 or 12, 13 of them were from the United States, and the rest of them were from other countries, literally. And that was pretty cool, pretty humbling. And obviously you're competing next to Mark Felix is there, and Jerry Pritchett was my judge and stuff like that. That was cool. But I think that I like Michigan's Strongest just because, well, that's what got me there that year. Was I got second place at Michigan to go that year. I like that one a lot. Gosh, I could bounce around all the time because all of them have like a different part of it that just kind of draws me to it. George puts on a great comp here at Great Lakes. Motor City's kind of synonymous with what we have here. It's kind of cool. What they do there with the one with what shirt you got on there, Shane ran that one, and that was fun. It was my first comp I did. So that's kind of important. But like doing Cass City, that's a lot of fun because I go up and compete as a heavyweight when I'm weighing at under 200 pounds. I make sure I make weight at under 200, and then I go compete as a heavyweight. So they're all cool for different reasons. I don't know that it'd be easy to pick just one for a multitude of reasons, but. Yeah.
So going along those lines, what are your favorite events to have? Do you like, because because like for me personally, like I love the truck pull. That's something that I've never done before. Never done before, but that's what everyone's synonymous with when you say strongman. They go, oh, where they pull the planes or when they pull the trucks. And so that's when I always like to say that. Yeah, you pulling the truck pull, or I do like the yoke or throwing events are my favorite too. Like, but we only have one comp that has throwing events basically. So what would you say?
Well,
are your
sandbags are pretty popular nowadays, but Michigan's kegs.
Mm-hmm.
But side handle car deadlift, I don't knock on wood. I've never been beaten in my weight class at that event, and I've been able to go against some pretty high class guys. I do like the side handle car deadlift. I'm very neutral position strong, hence Great Lakes and the 18-inch deadlift. That's a very neutral position for me, and my hips are strong in that spot. So it's obviously easy to like the ones that you're good at. But I love the overhead press, and which is weird because I was never an overhead presser. And I'll let you in on a little tidbit. I can overhead press more than I can bench press. So as weird as that sounds, I am a terrible bencher, and everybody says, they got that arch back or bent back press or lean back press. I even played with it tonight for log press, and I am so much stronger over my head. Like as soon as the log gets right over my head, it just goes up so easy. So I like being very neutral, very stacked right over my body, and those work well for me. But moving events, because the CrossFit and MMA and the running and all that stuff have always suited me well. So those are ones that I like. Weakness would be like a grip event. That's not my strength, but I've made leaps and bounds on that. Because I'm a believer in working on your weakness. Don't let my best things get weak, but work on your weakness, to get those better. Because I don't like having holes in my game. I like to be well-rounded.
Yeah, grip's one of those things you never think about. You never train grip specifically, but then all of a sudden you go to grip on a deadlift or do something and it slips right out of your hands, and you're like you have all the power in the world, but your hands just won't hold it.
Yeah, well, I'm a hook gripper when it comes to like deadlift, if you will. Like when I did my powerlifting meet, I hook gripped over 600 at my first ever powerlifting meet. So actually that meets this weekend. The APF meet, I did it a year ago. This coming weekend, the AAPF. I did the AAPF, which is the tested division, and then I also competed at Open as well, and did all right for my first one. I messed up a few things, learned a lot, but strongman is way more fun than powerlifting. Way more fun.
I've noticed too, like the strongman community is a lot more nicer and like say friendly. So like right now, we all met at competitions talking, but at a powerlifting meet, most of the time people are scoping you out and like they're rooting for you to not, they want to win. Like I get the competitiveness, but they're not there to help you. They're there to compete against you. Like at a strongman meet though, you can walk up to people and say, "Hey, you got tacky?" Yeah, here's some tacky. Like everyone's friendly is what I noticed.
Well, my experience with APF, Ben Pauly, if you know Ben, he's super nice guy. I mean, you look at him, he looks like he's going to rip your head off, but he's willing to give you tips and help. I mean, I've been to Static Monsters and he comes there, he's got those big monster pressers, Logan and whatnot, that he usually comes and helps, and he's right there always to help me out. I mean, that's in the strongman, but even when I was at the APF, I met a few people there that I still chat with today. Even that Samantha is lifting this weekend, and she's crazy strong. And just a really nice person. Just the people I did meet that were willing to talk, they were all cool people. They'd offer help or tell you what. I'm all worried because I got to wear this singlet and you got to have the right. I got like these girl cut freaking underwear on because you're supposed to wear like regular underwear, and everybody's like, dude, don't worry and all this stuff, and you're like, whatever. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to follow the rules. I read the rule book is like 1 million pages long, trying to make sure I'm not messing up, but. I enjoyed it. It's just different. It's just very slow paced. Mm-hmm. Slower paced than I like.
Yeah, I could totally see you wearing a singlet to a strongman comp. Just I could see that in you. Except for that, it'd be like a half singlet, so that way you can still show off the.
Yeah, it'd be one of those ones with the long straps that come all the way down, like under my belly button or something.
Those would be great for moving events. That would be a sight to see. Like the Borat style swimsuit.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
Don't try anything twice.
oh man, the places that tacky would get. Going along the lines of, you said you did powerlifting and strongman and all that. So do you have what's your next set of goals? What's your next competition that you're looking forward to or trying to? I know you said that possibly someday the Arnold. What's your next steps?
Well, I got some big shoes to fill before then. Nationals in June is the next step. I really want to go and have a good try. I want to make podium at Nationals, USS Nationals. I'm really putting a lot of effort into that, and I have what it takes. I think I got to work on a few things, but I think I have the tools that I need to become a podium at Nationals. And then from there, the main training will be for OSG Worlds, which I'm already qualified for here in 2021. Actually, we were just looking at flight tickets to Daytona Beach today for November. So there will be some stuff that happens in between there. Some of them are on the DL, if you will. I'm not letting anybody know that I'm showing up, so I can break some hearts, hopefully. And but I do, I'll do some local comps here and there, just come as whatever I weigh. And, I'd like to do Michigan's if it works out, depending, as long as it doesn't fall too close to something or whatever, which if it's in early August and I have until November, I don't see that being a problem, but I might do that as a 105 if I can make it work. But yeah, and I'd like to, I'm already signed up for Matt's comp, so I'm going to go do that and see how that goes. So, which a lot of those things are nice because like the heavy yoke, we got to do a car yoke for Worlds. We got to get inside the Volkswagen bug and do a car yoke for Worlds. It's a log press for reps, clean every rep. So, the log press, all that stuff is going to transition over really well. Just a lot of stuff transitions well, when they keep using similar events. So just kind of a reason or a way to put myself in a competition type setting to make sure, with weight cuts or with whatever factors come into play, that you're kind of ready for everything. I can lift on my log all day and then I go lift on something else that might throw me off. Well, this gives me a chance to go lift on Matt's log that'll be different or whatever, and kind of get some different feelings. And, some of the comps will be outside, so that'll throw a different element into it because you got to look at nothing, when you're looking up at the sky. You can't focus on those points. Just stuff like that to kind of, I like to compete. So, I like to put myself in that situation, make sure all the cobwebs are off and I'm ready to roll.
How long do you do a prep for say, Nationals that's coming up? How long do you set out? What kind of goes into your prep?
So this is the first week I started prepping for Nationals. And it's really just one day this week that we're prepping for Nationals for the most part. So we'll do 12 weeks of prep and just kind of work towards whatever we need to do. And we'll get so many weeks out and we'll clean up everything and make sure that we're technically sound. Matt knows I kind of, with him and his comp coming up, we worked on specificity these last couple of weeks just to make sure and put him in like duress situations so that he'll feel okay. I already did 2 events. He's going in there and training today. He feels great. That's cool. But you already did 2 events. You're not going to have that same feeling. So I'll kind of pre-exhaust, which is something I like to do too. I'm big on like pre-exhausting myself before I even start training. And I actually, oddly enough, I hit PRs usually when I pre-exhaust properly. Like I'll go do sled pushes or whatever, do a full like mini WOD before I even start my workout, my actual programming. So it kind of puts me in a better place. I don't know, gets the body just going, gets the central nervous system primed, and I move better. But my work capacity is fairly high. I can do a lot of reps. I would say my work capacity in reps is superior to my static strength. Like I can do 95% for freaking like 5 reps, but 100% isn't always there. You know what I mean?
That's the same with me. I feel the same way.
But so we'll fine tune that, and I let kind of coach, steering. He's got the steering wheel. He knows I can get, like, I never deviate from the programming. I'm very like consistent. I stay in the track all the time. But he'll kind of like, I can get in my own head sometimes, and kind of, well, this should have been better. I should be stronger than this. And dude, it's all good. You're going to have a day. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or I should be here by this time. And I'm not there. So I'm frustrated, but every time we get to comp or every time we get to the point, it's always there. So yeah. I've learned with the time with him that I can trust, he knows what I can do and he'll get me there. And that's why we're still together to this point,
Is Matt your first client that you've had?
I've trained a few people for different things. It depends on what it's for. Like I said, I've coached a lot. So I've coached over the years for sport specific stuff and different things and just even the kids stuff. But Matt would be my first, we're going to work on the log pressing and just tack down one thing really, really well. And I helped him in a little bit of other stuff, just kind of comp prep and making sure he's thinking about different things and different stuff that he might not be thinking about, and just little movement stuff that I noticed that somebody else doesn't notice. I don't have a problem with somebody looking around, you're like, hey, do you see a problem with this? Even though I have a coach or whatever, do somebody else see a problem with this? And I always trust coach, but everybody's got a different eye. Everybody sees things differently. And even my wife a lot of times has helped me in my training. She comes out and she'll say, hey, you're not doing this. And it's like, oh, okay. I'll give you an example of one of my wife here, my grip, my farmers. And she told me, do this and this. And she doesn't even do a whole lot of strongman. And it was one of the best cues that I've ever gotten. And that's just, I kind of tend to roll my shoulders forward and hold it down. And she's like, set your shoulders back and, kind of look up high. And then I go on find a YouTube video of somebody doing the same thing. And I'm like, oh, cool. She's right. And it just worked, So, yeah, kind of along that stuff. Matt, as far as Matt goes, yeah, he's my first, we're working on this specific thing, but most of it's a lot of, just cardio prep, sport specific prep. I've done some nutrition stuff with some people. I've done some program design with some people just to kind of get them going, get them ready, stuff like that.
That's nice. Yeah, that's good. That's what, because I had Brittany Diamond for my coach for 2 years, and then she recently got out of coaching, and now I kind of went for a little bit without a coach, and I was going to message you, but I didn't know how busy you were, and so then I ended up messaging Travis Ortmeyer. And then I talked to him on the phone for about 3 hours the one day, and then I decided, I was like, yeah, that's pretty good talk. So I ended up going with him, and I've been with him this is my end of my second week of training with his style, and it is 1,000% different than what I was doing. Because with Brittany, I was doing more high rep work. So I was doing sets of 15 on squat, sets of 10 to 12 on deadlift every time, never getting lower than that. So I never really worked on building heavy. So that's why I could do 500 for 10 reps on deadlift, just warming up. But then my max deadlift I've had was 630. So it's right. There should, like you were saying earlier, where I can do 95% for 10 reps, but only 100% for 1 rep. That's the crazy thing. And that's what I learned now is he makes me film everything. And I never filmed myself. I always thought it was kind of weird. And so now I film everything and I can see all the things that I'm doing, to have the hip impingement, not letting my hips open up, bending my knees before I bend my hips on the squat, all those little things like that. I never realized I was doing until, like you said, another set of eyes are on you. And then, you send them a video, how does this look? And then you get a paragraph back saying everything you've done wrong. And you're like, wow, I'm a piece of shit. I didn't.
I will say that I probably know a lot more than Travis Ortmeyer, but probably not. I think he has a little bit of experience, especially as a strongman. Having been a pro for quite some time, been the world's strongest man and whatnot.
Yeah, that's what's nice. It's nice to have someone that's been to where you're in your head that you want to be at, that can also help you. And that's my next competition. I got a big stone to load, and I've trained stones, but just never focused on them. And then he's the stone man, so it's oh, perfect. He's just yeah, you should be able to load a 580. Or he's you don't even start doing stones until you do a 580 stone raw. And I'm like, Oh, okay.
All right, cool.
I'm like, there's not very many people I don't think could do
I don't know.
that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out why he would say that what was the world record before?
Well, I think Shaw. I was at the.
50?
It was a 555.
Yeah, I was at the at Arnold the year I think Shaw did 555 or 550 or something like that. You know, that was a big deal then. And now obviously that got blown out of the water by Stoltman. But yeah, that doesn't really 580 stone brawl doesn't coincide with that.
Well, I think he's just messing around.
I mean, he was a gym
rat. I can see that. Yeah.
Well, I remember watching the video of him loading like a 400-pound stone or something to like a platform that was like 3 foot taller than his head. Like back in the old ISSA days where the platforms were at like 90 inches or some shit. Yeah. Like watching, that's where then you watch everyone fall backwards with a stone on their chest.
I don't want to think about that.
I dropped a 45 on my foot. That's about the worst I've had so far of big injuries.
Yeah, that'll hurt.
Well, you're talking about your meet prep. What do you do for, like you said, soft tissue work? You're doing mobility. Well, what other things that go besides just lifting go into your preps?
Obviously, nutrition's a huge part of it. Eating right. You know, as I get closer, I get tighter and tighter and tighter on my diet. Even though I'm fairly, compared to most, I'm pretty tight outside the Oreos, but that's programmed in. I do regularly, so like whether I meet prep or not, I spend time with some sort of soft tissue work every day or mobility work every day. You know, wife and I like to do a yoga thing together every once in a while too. I'd like to do that more, not clothes for this one. But we do that. I'm always doing something. Like I'm always moving. Like you'd probably think I was hurt all the time because I'm always stretching something, but I'm not, because I'm like, okay, this arm won't move as well as this arm will, or this won't move to the same. Why? And I just start drilling it down. And so I'm constantly on that. You know, I want more toys, but I got a lot of them. You know, the Theraguns and all the different. One of my favorite things, I got this like hook. It's like a hook, and I can get it into my back, and I can really work it, kind of figure that out. I'm actually going to see Tim Sala at Mayo here in the next couple of weeks and get some really good stuff, the stuff that I can't reach and whatnot, and just some small things that I really want everything to be 100% on. I'll go see him a few times, you know, up to nationals and up to worlds to make sure to get some cupping and scraping and different stuff like that done. But I hang on an inversion table quite regularly to keep all the decompression. I just had my back x-rayed because I was having something. I fell back at Static Monsters, and I think I pinned it down, and that's when I twisted my, I don't know, it was L6 or something like that. And I didn't know what it was until we took the x-ray, and we got that back. But she was so impressed because all my discs were all so even. She's like L4 to L5, which everybody blows out. She's like, yours are just so even all the way through. You know, you've been able to keep it up considering what I did. And that was after the 955 at Great Lakes and everything. So it was like, it's just doing those things I think helps. I'm not getting any younger, so I got to stay moving. I want to stay mobile. So recovery is, I always tell everybody, a bigger part of my game than the actual training itself. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so you're not too far away from Masters, are you?
No, I'll be 38 this year. I'll be 38 by the time I go to Worlds.
Are you going to stay down in the open, or will you move up to Masters when you get up to that age?
So the plan is to hit these two big ones this year, and then maybe next year or some point I want to see if I can't find a qualifier for Arnold's and go to the Arnold's and see how I can do there. And then after that, I'll kind of feel things out. I don't know. I got some static things that I'd like to chase, and kind of might just narrow it down to some efforts that I want to put myself into and go that route, but not really sure what I'll do at that point. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure yet.
You'll probably
right now, I tend to kind of like get the cart in front of the horse. I kind of like, I want to do this and this and this and this and this. And the coach always says he only got one. It's some weird, I don't know, country boy saying something about riding. You can only ride one horse with one ass or something like that. I don't know. He says something all the time to me. I'm like, you know, I can't set a new deadlift PR and then win this competition and do this all in the same month. And he's like, you only got one ass, right? One horse, something like that. And I'm like, okay. So he keeps me centered. So what the focus here is like, okay, nationals. Nationals is the goal. You're not worried about worlds. You're not worried about anything else. You're worried about nationals. So let's just focus on that and pin that down, because that's what we need to focus on and do what we need to do to do well there.
Good. Tony, you got anything?
What are the events for USS Nationals this year?
As a 90 kilo guy, I have I think it's 260, 270 log axle back and forth as fast for as many times as you can in 60 seconds. I have a 605 deadlift for reps. I have a sandbag. I think is it a sandbag Husafel or two sandbags? I don't know. There's like a carry medley.
Keg sand. I just got it up. Keg sandbag medley.
Keg sandbag medley. And then there is the stone run is the final event. We got to do 3 stones over 56 inches, like 3 different lengths. You know, they get the lighter stone further away. Yep. They get heavier as they get closer. And I'm missing one. Oh, the farmers with a turn, 100-foot farmers with a turn, 270 a hand.
So, okay.
So is that 50-foot down turn, 50-foot back?
Yep. 2 drops, only 2 drops allowed. That's it. Okay. So.
Nice. Yeah, so it would be, the turn. Yeah, that would be the hard part is the turn. Just getting it to where when you go to whip around that corner where they want to do that crossover thing is the hardest thing I've found.
I have some farmers, the Titan farmers. I have some of my own, but my buddy has some Titan farmers, and they are slippery, like from new. They're just super slippery. I got raw steel ones, and I can, just so much better for me. But I use it, but they're longer. The Titan ones are longer too. So I'm gonna be spending a lot of time training with those because I want that long to turn to kind of really drive that turn in, so you don't over rotate. So you turn left, you drive the left into the right, and kind of slow your foot pattern, short choppy steps kind of into the corner, and then hit the straightaway and go. So I got some. I'll be working on that one. That one I'll be hitting hard multiple times just because my grip. First of all, I can move fast. I'm not worried about that, but my grip's got to sustain. So
do you train at home, or I see you posted the last couple of videos? You're in a new place.
Yeah, that's a buddy of ours. Actually, my wife's boss too, but just some friends from her school days, and we've met and kind of just been hanging out. We're building a gym out there. Essentially, I kind of been helping get all the equipment and kind of installing it and whatnot. So I've been training out there. It's kind of a private, it's not fully done yet, but it's going to have turf, 60 foot of turf in it. And it's got pole cables, and we're working on free weights, and we're going to put a full lifting platform, super thick. So we don't have to worry about the floor. It's got a deadlift frame, different things like that. It's got a cardio area, and it'll have a bathroom and such. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
lift in my garage a lot too. Yeah, they bought their family farm, and it's just their old family farm that they turned into the barn into a gym. So
that's kind of what I did on my first one, and then now I got the 40 by 40 building, which the whole thing's my gym now.
Yeah, I think this one's 40 by 80, something like that. So it's decent size. It's not super high and high in the middle, but the walls aren't super high. It's like an older barn from the 70s or something like that. So it's kind of different style, but it's all spray foam insulated and it's got heat in it and such. It's nice, very nice.
Yeah, speaking of gym, I see Tony. You finally released your new gym name.
Yeah, I finally changed the gym name. Gym's not built yet, but Still in the garage.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, waiting for that Biden money to roll in. So
that STEMI's pending, baby.
Oh, I got 4 kids. That's another topic we haven't talked about, but I got 4 kids, man. So you know what that means for me.
Yep.
A lot of new equipment.
So actually, I'll touch on something. That's kind of near and dear to me. People always kind of make the excuse of having time and finding time and doing things and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody by any means, but we've always been able to find time. My wife is a CPA or almost a CPA, and she works at a tax firm. It's tax season. The last 3 years, everything's changed like 10 times because of all these different things going on. And she still is training. I have my 3 boys are all in hockey right now, and I'm going to Gladwin tomorrow for 4 games. And we got 4 games in Sandusky on Sunday, and I'll find time to train. And we both work, full time plus, and coach their sports or help with, this or that, and still have time for each other and do everything. So, and compete at a decent level. So, there's always a way. And if anybody is ever wondering like how do you do it or how do you manage it? And I still push for 8 hours of sleep every night. It might be 7 sometimes, but, I still push for my 8 hours of sleep every night as well. But I would love to help anybody out with that time management and how you can get the most out of your day. That's something that is kind of near and dear to me, because you always hear, I don't have time, or this, that, or the other thing. And I don't watch much TV. Personally, I don't. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to ask you, how much TV do you watch? And I knew the answer is going to be very little, because that's one of the biggest things that people don't realize is you spend – shut up. You spend that much time it's easy to watch an hour of TV. It's 45 minutes gone. 45 minutes is almost a full workout, it's like an hour and 20 minutes is my workouts now. I'm getting it down, plus or minus mobility work and stuff like that. But one episode of your TV show, that's your whole workout and everything. And like meal prepping is one thing that I always found was in my head, I make it sound like meal prepping is going to take hours and all these cleaning. But like I can cook 5 pounds of chicken on my grill at one time, and I throw in the 2 steamer bags of microwave in the microwave for the broccoli, the vegetables, and then portion those out. And it takes me like 40 minutes total from the time I started till I'm done to have enough meals for 3 days.
Right. So my meal prep kind of way, and the kind of way we do things is I cook 1 or 2 things at a time. So I'll cook burger, and it'll just be a bunch of burger, 3 pounds of burger or 4 pounds of burger, and have that ready. And that'll last for a couple days. And then the next day I'll cook a bunch of chicken, or I'll cook rice, or I'll cook, and they kind of like just cycle over each other. They kind of just overlap. So I don't have anything like overly prepped, but I always have something in the fridge for a couple days. And I always keep like freezer bags of I love my California style mix, my broccoli, carrots, and cauliflower, just in case I need that. Rice is there. It's easy. The Instant Pot for rice is super easy, super fast, and it comes out great for that. Sweet potatoes in the Instant Pot. My wife's been doing those. They're awesome in there. But yeah, I do my meal prep kind of like all through the week, but I'm like prepping for the next day or the next day after that or whatever, a couple meals at a time. So I find that way to be easier. Something everybody gets a kick out of is my breakfast. I get up every morning and make breakfast. I eat 9 eggs every morning for breakfast, and I love my eggs. How can you eat 9 eggs every day for breakfast and then get excited about waking up and eating 9 eggs for breakfast? I do it over and over, and I love it. But I make it. I wake up in the morning, I make all my breakfast before. I make all my lunch in the morning before I go to work, get all that stuff ready to go. And that's just kind of my time to get things going and I'm very habitual, ritualistic, kind of like just got to stay in that same pattern and repeat. The bad part is if I get out of that pattern, I kind of throws me off a little bit. I struggle a little bit. I get a little bit, I don't want to say agitated, but just kind of messes me up a little bit for the day. So.
Yeah, I that's the downside of growing up on a chicken farm is I despise eggs because, well, when you got 225,000 eggs a day, every single day for 50, I don't know how many years it's been going since like 1910. Like that's a lot of eggs. That's a lot of chickens. So it's like I hate chickens. Like my wife's always like, let's get some chickens for the backyard. Like, I hate chickens. I hate
I
it.
had 25 at once.
Oh, hell with that. Those things are monsters. So I drink my eggs now. So I buy the egg whites and the cartons at Sam's. I get the big box of it's like 10 cartons. Open that bad boy, drink one in the morning, throw it in trash, done. No, don't have to sit there and cook that. I hate the smell of eggs. I hate everything about eggs.
We had recently had some local people. They posted online, "Hey, we have a bunch like a surplus." I'm like, "I'm the guy." So I run over to their house and they just had a bunch of eggs and I don't know. I got how did that work out? 10 dozen eggs. They had 10 dozen. They just gave it was like $20 like for 10 dozen eggs. Money.
Nice.
Perfect. And we go through at least about a dozen a day, as a family. My 3-year-old eats one egg every day. When I make my sunny side up, my fried eggs there, I make him one every morning, and probably 4 or 5 days out of 7, he eats a whole egg for breakfast along with his other stuff too. So yeah, love my eggs and Oreos.
I posted some on Facebook the other day, the Egg McMuffin Oreo. I was going to tag you in it.
My daughter or somebody sent me that. Somebody showed me that. I saw that.
Oh,
that's
I seen that. I was like, that's a Nick thing.
I'd try it, but I don't think that would be my favorite. They got a new one out. It's a strawberry donut Oreo.
Really?
It's like a vanilla cookie with strawberry. I haven't seen it. My daughter sent me that one, and she said that was at Walmart, and I was in Sandusky, and they didn't. Walmart in Sandusky doesn't have anything.
So I saw somebody post about it. It's even got like the sprinkles in it.
Yeah. So you guys, have you ever had the Brookios?
The brownie ones?
The Brookie. Well, it's brownie, cookie dough, and then the Oreo filling all in one cookie.
Oh, I've had the brownie ones before.
No, they're amazing. Almost as good as a carrot cake, but.
Oh, carrot cake are good.
I'm a connoisseur, so.
A collector of sorts. Yeah, so, Tony, did you have any questions? Because I can.
Oh, you keep firing them off, bud.
Well, I was gonna say I got my Q&A questions, like my quick round of questions. If you don't have anything on top of your mind.
Oh, you mentioned Ben earlier. I got a couple pieces of his old stuff out in my garage.
Oh yeah.
I got his yoke and the circus dumbbell.
Nice. That's a 400-pound yoke empty.
That's a 400-pound empty yoke.
Yeah, big old iron train rails on it.
Yes. There's no warming up. That's straight into 400 pounds.
Yep. I've carried that yoke multiple times.
And then Cory used the circus dumbbell with me. It's the old propane tanks. He painted it black. Yep. So
I have one of those as well. I built one my own. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I just had to bring that up real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Said he trained with Ben. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah, he's kind of out of it. He was training one season there, and he's a phenomenal bencher. He's like a 450 bencher or something like that at like 200 pounds. And he was zero mobility. I always told him, dude, you got to get that mobility and come down with her one time, pop that pack, and that's all she wrote. All the equipment went for sale. That's when you bought that yoke and everything like that. I got a few things from him. I bought his SSB and whatnot from him, and I think Dave ended up getting the log that I train with still. The pit bull log was from Ben as well. So, but I love the guy. I mean, he got me into the sport that I've learned to enjoy so much. So I always kind of bring it back to Ben for that. He's the one that said, "Hey, why don't you just go try to do Motor City?" And the rest is history from there so far. So.
Okay.
Awesome.
So now we'll get into the lightning round questions. Basically, what I like to do at the end here is just kind of a random assortment of random things that come off the top of my head. So we'll start off pretty normal. What is your favorite? So Matt is a huge proponent of the camber bars, the transformer bar, all those fancy bars. What's your favorite? I call them fancy bar. What's your favorite fancy bar to use?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really have one. I like everything. They all have a purpose, but I don't really have a favorite. I guess I like a barbell. I don't have a problem with just a regular barbell. You can you can get extremely strong with just a barbell and come into a strongman competition and do very, very well if you're proficient with a barbell in a lot of different movements, deadlift, squat, and overhead pressing and different stuff like that. You can do a lot with them. So it's kind of not very cool, but a regular barbell would be, because I could do so much with it.
That's what I was going to say.
If I had to pick one,
I would say it's kind of controversial, but I like just a straight bar. Nothing fancy, not a deadlift bar, just a regular straight bar used for every lift that I do, just because no matter what, even if you go to a competition where you're pulling on a deadlift bar, if you train for that on a straight bar and you got the deadlift bar, that's an advantage.
I'll disagree with you just a little bit on that, only because of deadlift style. So for a while, I could deadlift more on a power bar than I could on a deadlift bar. However, I've learned how to pull into it. I'm an aggressive puller. If you pull aggressive on a deadlift bar, that whip will frickin' pull you right back. It'll pull you forward and it'll pull you out of position, where a power bar doesn't have that flex. So depending on your position, there is a little bit of a nuance there, but I will, for the most part, agree with you. I trained with power bar recently a lot just to get my out of the hole strength stronger, so that when I do pull with a deadlift bar, I got that bottom strength just that much stronger.
Yeah, I guess I'm not super explosive. So for me, I'm one speed from, I usually just go one speed from floor to lockout. There's no pause or nothing with me, or no slowdown. That's what I've always been like. So that's what I know Matt says the same thing, where if you whip that off the ground, that whip will throw you off. I just never had the whip, I guess.
You can play the whip, but you just gotta get used to it. You gotta know. I mean, you ever watch Bilbo Baggins or the John Hack pull on a deadlift bar? It's ridiculous, dude. That guy's incredible.
Well, it's the same as that. Was that Konstantinov or whatever his name is? That one,
Oh, yeah.
the one where that's the here guy's always whipping his back on the deadlift. You see that video?
Yeah.
That guy, I think it was like 405 or something. Doesn't use a belt. It's like 900 pounds raw, double overhand too on some of them. But I seen that one he did. It was like 405, and he ripped it up so it was basically like doing a row. He pulled it up so fast, and it was like under a second, where it was like from floor to lockout back to the ground. It's like, holy hell.
Yeah. The Great Lakes, the 955 was on a deadlift bar, obviously, so that was kind of interesting. So I still wish I would have went for 1,000.
I was gonna say, why didn't you just go for 1,000 at that point?
George and Willie Wessels talked me out of it. I already beat the record with my second attempt, and my third attempt, it would have been from 905 to 1,000, and I'm like, that's a big jump. And Willie's like, just you got 1,000, and you just break it now and then come back and break it again later. We're at that point. We wanted to keep the competition going because it was in the middle of it, and so I pulled 955, and that was my third attempt. So.
Well, you got that pretty. I've seen the video. I wasn't there, but I seen the video of it, and that was crazy impressive, especially for however much you weighed at that time. That's an insane. That was kind of like the Cass City, Cass City was it 2017 or 18? We did the one with the tractor, the big truck tire deadlift. That was my first ever comp. That was one where it came down to me and you on it, and that was my weakest event.
We had to do the 50-pound jumps.
Yeah, and what we did, it was
last man standing.
It was like 800 or something we got up to, or
no, we missed 900. We both missed 900.
We both did. Because we did. We both, because there was actually, I was like 15 people in that competition, and it was going good up to about like 700, and all of a sudden that's when everyone dropped out. So then it got down to like 4 guys, and then we both pulled like 50.
It was like blazing hot outside. I remember having like a hat and a blanket over my head because we were just standing out in the sun getting blazing hot in that parking lot, and then having to pull that. That one dawned on me a lot, or I thought about that one a lot, because I'm like, man, I should be able to pull this, because I pulled this like my first year in Strongman. I pulled like this amount of weight. I really think that was not 18 inches. I think it was higher than 18 inches, because when I can't get 18 inches above my knees and like kind of hip it up. But that bar, I could hit my knees underneath and like hip it up, and that's why I was able to do that. I know the one guy that was there competing, he was not impressed with he didn't really like that I could do that. He thought I was kind of cheating a little bit, but they do it at Worlds to this day. So,
oh yeah,
it was within the rules, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What are your view about Novikov's deadlifts at the World's Strongest Man?
So my biggest problem with Novikov's deadlift, and this is, you don't hear this, and I don't know. I like him. He's from my home. I'm partially Ukrainian, so he's from Ukraine. So I'm not going to hate on Novikov because he is the freaking man. But something I can't wrap my head around is you're telling me Rogue made 34.5-inch wagon wheels for that. And, the reason I say that is the wagon wheels that are on there are sitting on double 3/4 stall mats, and they're standing on the ground. If you look at it close enough, they're standing below what the wagon wheels are sitting on. So that would mean that they had to have made shorter wagon wheels. They didn't make 36-inch wagon wheels. They made 34.5-inch, and then had to put 1.5 inches a mat underneath them to get to 18 inches.
Oh.
I question. If you look it up, you'll see what I'm talking about. And you look at where his knees are on the bar when he starts, despite the finger thing. Whatever. He was within the rules. I don't care about that. And I don't care. Like he did it because everybody else had the same advantage. So I don't really care about that. But I'm only 5'10", and I can't get it above my knees like that. And he started with it like at his kneecaps, and I think he's 6 foot, 6'1".
Yeah.
I know he's not. But I'm not saying we have the same. I don't know. Maybe we have the same length, lower legs, but I'm pretty sure his would be a little bit longer than mine. And just starting point was just really odd to me, but it was within the rules, so I don't care. I mean, he said it, but I think that Anthony Pernice's would beat his. I think that his was more. I don't want to say more legitimate, but it was under tighter standards.
Was that the one with the calibrated plates and everything
calibrated plates at true 18 inches, and it was like more than what his lift actually was. I think 1,200. And, I don't know. It was a few more pounds than what Novikov pulled there. So as far as world record goes, I don't know that that's the case. It's the world record because it was at World's Strongest Man, I guess. But
okay,
right.
I think that if you go into USS Nationals page, right there's like two guys that are above me, and Anthony Pernice is one of them, and because of a different weight class. But I have 80, 90, or I guess 181, 198, 220, and I think I have the 242 class. I'm over them, and then you get into like a 275, and somebody's got. I think it's Dirks actually. I think Dirks has like 1,075 or something like that, or 1,050, somewhere in there. And then there's I think Anthony's is in there. It's like stupid 1,200 and something pounds.
All right, if you could get sponsored by any company, what would be your like every single company said you could pick one, and they'll give you a full lifetime sponsorship. Who would it be, and what would it be for?
Oh man, Oreos. Oh geez. It would have to be some sort of equipment provider because equipment's not cheap, man. It'd be cool to have like an infinite resource of that. That's a hard one, man. I like so many things. It's hard to pin down one thing. I don't know. Rogue, I guess.
You go Rogue.
I mean, as much as I like the smaller companies, I'm not, not that Rogue's an American company. I'd like to support them as well, and I have some Rogue stuff myself. But I'd like to support a smaller company, I guess. The shop, the shop sponsor me for lifetime supply of everything.
Just gotta see if Matt will fork out some cash.
It'd be great to have something. I would love to have something here in the near future. I would like, just because I don't know, I some sort of help or something I can do to help with this, so that it has some sort of. Everybody's like, you do this for free? You pay to go do this stuff? You don't get any money for this? It's like,
how much?
I don't want money.
Right.
Right. I don't want any money per se, but it'd be cool to get a chance to go to another country or something and have the expenses paid or something like that. So I guess if I do well at nationals, technically you can go to Worlds there, and Willie fronts the funds for that, I think. But
cool.
So I don't know. So there's a lot of different choices. Some booty short company.
That's what I was going for. I was going to say some company that makes shorts short enough.
Yeah.
Which actually that works. that falls right into my next question of what's your ideal pair of shorts here? Like, so for training wise.
For training, oh man, I use a lot of running shorts. That's kind of been because they're easy to come by and the material is good. The only thing I don't like is when they got the underwear liner in them. That drives me insane after a while. So you don't fall out the bottom, but it gets a little crampy after a while. But what's the brand? Chubbies. I've been getting. That's what I had at the deadlift there. Those, I'll tell you what, those things, you can wear them to a nice place. You can wear them swimming. You can wear them working out. You can do everything with them. They are amazing. They're shirts. They're awesome. They're not super cheap, but I've really enjoyed that stuff. I've got a couple pairs of those and a shirt and whatnot. I will definitely be investing more money in those in the near future. They do make I think I have 4-inch. I think they make a 3-inch short. So
at that point, you might as well just wear a thong.
I mean, whatever if you want, I guess.
3 inches. Now, is that from the waistband down 3 inches?
No, that's your inseam. Your inseam.
Oh man. Realistically, I know you're competitive, and I'm pretty competitive too. In one setting, how many Oreos do you think you could eat? Raw, no milk, no nothing.
Ooh.
Raw Oreo.
Oh, I could definitely eat a whole pack of Oreos with no milk. It's a little more time consuming. I've done it multiple times. I already know that 33 Oreos is definitely doable. And that's double stuffs too. But how many total with no milk? Yeah. I don't know a number. I could probably get near 50. I think the dryness. I mean, the whole saltine cracker thing makes it tough. Yeah. Like a vanilla cookie would be easier because it's not quite as dry as the chocolate cookie, but
I've done quite a bit of the eating challenges. I've done the cinnamon challenge, which was terrible. I did the milk challenge. I did the 50-piece nugget meal. I did that in 4 minutes.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that was a fun one, except for the stomach ache afterwards. Because after eating 2 boxes of fries, drinking 2 Dr. Peppers, and 50 McNuggets, that was rough. But did that one. I did the hot and ready pizza in under 2 minutes. I did.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, the trick is you just inhale. So 2 chews and a swallow is my basic rule when eating.
You have
2 chews.
You must make your boyfriend happy.
Yeah, it's an art.
You probably have all that on your OnlyFans too, so that you probably get a lot of male subscribers.
Hey, the bank doesn't care. All right, the bank just sees the dollar signs. They don't care who's subscribing. Yeah, it's actually, I'm going to add that on tonight. I'm going to wear the short shorts. I'm going to go squat right after this. So that's going to be on tonight. To subscribe.
Hey, Martins does it.
Martins wears some very, very short, very tight shorts all the time. I noticed that, especially in his newer videos. After he got his gym now, doesn't he look like the world's strongest stoner?
Well, I just want to say I was there. I was doing short shorts before I knew he was. So
he's the inventor, the captain down below.
I had the highlighter yellow ones. I got the bright blue ones on right now. I got a few options.
So what's your favorite Oreo out of all the kinds?
Carrot cake.
Carrot cake, really? I've never had that one.
Man.
I've had the red velvet. I don't like red velvet though.
Not even. It's decent, but it's not even close.
Carrot
cake is a carrot. Yeah, it's a carrot cake cookie with the vanilla cream
cheese?
frosting. Yeah, cream cheese frosting. Thank you.
Ooh, that sounds terrible.
Give me 3 seconds.
He's got to grab a stash.
I bet you he probably has stock in Oreo.
I couldn't tell you the last time I had it. Oh man,
that looks so good.
These guys here.
Tony, when's the last time you had one?
I couldn't tell you the last time I had an Oreo.
I guess it makes it official if I eat one while I'm podcasting, right?
Yeah, that's probably it has to go with it. I like the golden Oreos and milk. I don't know what it is about those. I always like those ones.
The lemon goldens I like a lot.
Never had those ones.
That's probably a top 5.
Do you have
the rookie?
the thing you put the Oreo in to dunk it in the milk? Or do you
I don't
just
dunk
go-
it. I don't drink milk with my Oreos.
You don't at all?
No, not unless I'm competing. But that's only because you gotta melt them. You gotta.
Yeah. Turn them into a liquid.
Yeah. Yep.
Man,
So
that's savage.
yeah.
Do you
Give me
drink
some more
milk at all?
questions. Yeah, I do. I drink. Depends again when I'm carb loading and stuff like that. Like on my fatter days, I'll drink. On my fat days, I'll drink milk, and then on my workout days, I'll drink almond milk. Less fat.
I noticed a lot of people are going dairy free now and trying to stay away from dairy, and that's why I didn't know how your view was on it.
I got cheese on my eggs most days. I'm never giving up.
Lemon Oreos.
Lemon Oreos, man. Love lemon Oreos. Yeah, I have cheese on my eggs and whatever. I make my pancakes. I put milk instead of water. I'm not afraid of it. My wife has a few allergies, so we have options. Whether it be like a lactose free or a Fairlife or something like that. But she tries to stay away from dairy for the most part. But she can have it, just not too much. So there's usually some sort of dairy free, but she can't have almonds. So she can't have the almond milk. But I like unsweetened vanilla almond milk is one of my favorite. It just with a protein shake is just awesome. It's just good. I like the creaminess of it.
Do you use any type of supplements like that, like protein or BCAAs or anything like that?
So daily regimen, I have I make a drink, a concoction, if you will. I like effervescence. I like fizz. So I use some effervescent tabs that Nunes, if you're familiar with Noon or not. But with a scoop of greens, a scoop of BCAAs, and I'm pretty picky on my BCAAs. They got to be really clean. I like NutriBio and True Nutrition stuff because they're usually a pretty clean profile. Some creatine, taurine, and I'm missing something. There's 5 things in it. So I have beetroot powder pretty regularly on the beetroot powder. And then I do fish oil every day. I do boron. I do vitamin. I do 10,000 IUs of vitamin D and a vitamin K every day for the most part. I've been taking a hemp oil at night before bed. Just seems to kind of, I don't know, I fall asleep really easily, but just trying to add some different things for different times of the day and see what you get out of them. But I'm weird. I won't ever ride anything for too long. I don't want my body to ever get used to having to be dependent on one thing. So I'll do something for a while and then I'll stop and then I won't take this supplement for a while and then I'll take something else and stuff like that. Just nothing for too long period of time wise. So like to get a lot of my micronutrients from my vegetables. I like vegetables quite a bit. So I think that's about it.
Yeah, seems like a pretty good, solid nutrition plan. It sounds like I do the multivitamin and fish oil every morning, and then I was on pre-workout for a while, and that kind of got down a slippery slope to where it was affecting my sleep and stuff. So I cut out all stimulants, which was super hard for the first couple weeks of not having anything to get. I was used to drinking a Rockstar, a sugar-free Rockstar in the morning or something like that on the way to work. I just got so used to doing that and getting out of that habit was the hardest thing, the caffeine dependency. And then now I notice if I drink just a cup of black coffee, it makes me jittery because not having stimulants for so long.
I pretty average 400 milligrams a day because I drink 2 of these every day. And these are my lifeblood right here. If I had said I had one addiction, this would be my addiction right here. Is Celsius Cola. If you can see
Is that the one that Matt's drinking too? That energy drink thing?
I've seen him with some Celsius. I don't know if he's had cola or not. I think he gets orange or something like that. I used to like a Diet Coke every once in a while, and now I don't even like it because of the syrupiness of it. This is a healthy drink, right? But it does have 200 milligrams of caffeine in it, and I drink one in the morning with my breakfast every day, and then I drink one usually with my workout. I kind of sip it intermittently. I can go without it doesn't bother me. Like I'm pretty sure I could go without the caffeine. I might have some headaches for a little bit, but if I could just get the flavor and the carbonation, again, the effervescence, I like that fizz, I would be good. And I don't have any other craving for anything other than that fizz. So.
Yeah, I'm addicted to LaCroix. Like, I drink the shit out of LaCroix. And everyone's like, how do you drink that? And I'm like, well, here's the thing. If you drink pop every day, stop drinking pop. I like the fizziness of it. And it's like, that's the only thing I like about pop. I don't like the syrupness or the sugar or any of that stuff. So I always drink Coke Zero. So I'm like, that LaCroix, that gives me all the fizziness in the world with no calories, no nothing in it. It's just, yeah, there's fucking Tony drinking his.
I only like my Coke Zero with bourbon.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's another thing.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you like sell outside of a contest prep? Like, do you actually have a normal life where you go out and get McDonald's or drink, go to the bar or something like that, or do you ever do that, or is that out of?
I drink very rarely. I might have a drink every, like, literally one drink or maybe two. If the wife and I go out for dinner or something like that, I might get a whiskey and like Sprite or something like that. I like a Crown and Sprite would be good for me. I like my Canadian whiskeys, a little sweeter, but
rye whiskey is good.
Yeah. And I don't drink. I don't like beer at all. Any shape or form of it. I'm not a really big fan. I mean, I'll have a little Babu Light or something if somebody's got one, and whatever the situation is, I'm not gonna be rude or anything like that. But I just don't. Drinking doesn't do anything for me. So no. As far as eating goes, I'm not trying to cut weight right now. I'm not worried about my weight right now, and I'm able to eat kind of what I want for the most part. I will probably have a surplus of calories this weekend because I got to go to Gladwin tomorrow. So we'll be on the road with all the kids, or myself, my wife will be working, but I'll be on the road tomorrow. So we'll be doing that. And then I got to go to Sandusky all day for 4 different games on Sandusky. So I'll probably get something there, whatever it may be. So I don't worry too much right now. But I don't like McDonald's. I don't really like any of the fast food places for the most part. I like a pizza every once in a while. Like if I'm going to splurge, I love a good like bar burger with some good fries. Is definitely is something I enjoy getting regularly if I can. But no, I try to save it for the most part. But every once in a while it happens.
What's your besides Oreos? Like, what's your go-to? Like if you're out on the road or whatever, and you're like, let's have fun tonight. Let's go get, like, what's your go-to?
A burger. It'd be a bar burger or something like that. Go get Yeah, I love. We have a good, nice local bar here in town that still has one of the best burgers that it's around that I've had. That I know what I'm getting and I know it's going to be good. It's a Pub House burger. It's got some like beer cheese in it and stuff like that. It's pretty tasty. Angus burger. So. I love that. The wife and I, we love going out for sushi.
I love sushi.
I'll murder a whole lot of sushi. It's hard to not spend $100 for the two of us on sushi, just real easily to get some sushi rolls of however many we can get. So like sushi. But we like good steak dinner, a good fish dinner. We like to go to some seafood restaurants, check that stuff out. Since my wife, I've become more cultured in my food and my diet, trying more things, and I can't do spicy food, no spice. Like mustard is my max. I don't go much higher than that. So
that's the whitest person thing I've ever heard in my life. Where it's like
okay. So there's a reason. My dad can eat the hottest stuff in the world. I mean, he can take a habanero and eat it, and he will never even change his facial expression. I've never done a ghost pepper, but I think he ruined me when I was a kid because I always, if I'd get in trouble or whatever, he like had paste pecani hot sauce all the time, and he put that stuff on your tongue and I think my tongue is fried from my childhood, and I can't handle it. It's because my dad does it no problem, and nope. No, I like the flavor. I honestly do. I like the flavor. I just can't handle the heat.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
All right, Tony, you have to make up a question.
I have to make up a question.
I'll put you on the spot.
Right, Tony, I know you got some questions for me.
Oh boy, I didn't even think of anything, to be honest with you.
I literally made this entire thing up on the fly.
I appreciate it too.
So I know you can come up with something.
So what is your? I know we've talked about this. What's your favorite event you've ever done at a competition?
The truck pull is pretty fun, especially when you do it before all the big guys do it. You know, as long as you were the first one to pull it and you're half the size of them, it's way cooler. Bye, Cory. See you later.
Yeah,
So I've never done like a.
You beat me by 1 point in both competitions. One point was the difference between us and both comps.
How many points does it take to beat you?
1 point. 1 fucking point.
Or half a point, or as long as I have more than you, right?
Yeah.
Strategize. That sounds like it was strategized.
So is a third time a charm or what? Do we have to try again?
I will pump a gallon of Trin into my system to make sure I get that point. Mid-comp, I'll have a needle in my ass just to make sure I get that extra point this time. Like that last time we competed, it was like, so in case anyone doesn't know, Nick does the heavyweight class at Cass City, which is this is the only time like we actually competed against each other. And it's always great. And then we were doing a truck pull, was it last year, 2 years ago now? And so there was 30 people competing there, 20 something people competing, and we were the last 2 people to go out of all those. And Nick went before me. I was the very last person to do it. Every single person, no one did the truck pull yet. Like everyone failed it or made it. No one did a full run. And then Nick, so you got a minute to do it. I forget what you did. You did it in like 52 seconds. You got it. The crowd fucking went nuts. Everyone was excited.
I think it was like 30-some seconds. That wasn't 50-some seconds.
I had to
10 20 seconds. Yeah.
it was, I don't know what you got it. And the crowd went nuts. Like everyone was just basically because, they watched 20-something people fail. And then Nick was the first one to get it. Everyone fucking went insane. And then I went after him and I did it in whatever time I did it pretty quick, and everyone's like, "Oh, hey, he did it too." And I'm like, "God damn it!" Like I was so excited I knew I was going to do good in that event, and like the whole crowd blew its load before I even went up there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, look at that, he did it too." And then everyone's like, "Yeah, then he's only half his size." I'm like, "He's not half my size." Jesus Christ!
But what happened in the deadlift?
The deadlift, I shit the bed because I was an idiot and didn't train it at all.
So Aaron West is there, right? He's like, you only need 3. You only like stop. I'm like getting ready. I'm gonna keep going. I'm like getting ready to pull more. And I'm like, he's like, and I like I'd already done 4, and he's like, you only need 3, and I'm still like getting ready to pull, and he's like, Nick, you only need 3, and I'm like, oh yeah.
That's what that came down to.
I was in the zone.
It was funny because like that competition really made no sense because like the truck pull was heavy, the deadlift was all right. But then I had 180-pound dumbbell, the circus dumbbell, like the heaviest fucking dumbbell. And we both got it about 3/4 of the way, and that's about it. There was no that final, because you do like the more like lean and stand, don't you? Is how you do yours?
No, I kind of push jerk it a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that's what it is.
I drop underneath it. Yeah.
You do the push and catch and like push it up, right? Yeah, that's what Matt does too. And then yeah, we both came close to getting that, but that was the big letdown. Nobody got that.
No. Well, the Stones were last, right?
Yep, that was the final, and that's where my rookie mistake again was because I didn't compete at all the year before. I was in the police academy, so that was the first competition I came back to, and I barely trained at all for it. I was just one of those like, yeah, we'll do it for funsies. I put the tacky up on the upper part of my arm, not even where you touch the actual stone. Like I put it way too high. So I went up there, grabbed that stone, pulled it right up, slipped, fell right off, and I was like, what the? I tried it again, and I could not get that thing in that motion, getting it over. Every time I'd get it up, it would slide and slip right out.
That was a 310 stone, right?
Yep.
300-pound stone.
Yep.
I know. I kept egging it on. I'm like, they had like a 280 stone on there. I'm like, no, 300, and they finally John got Aaron to switch it, so we did a 300 stone or whatever.
Yeah. So and now I one motion that stone to a 60-inch platform. So
60 inches. I cannot one motion 300 to 60 inches. Not right now, at least. I want to. I want to go over 400 pounds. I think I have the. I got to work on the technique. I get too much time in between stones, and I struggled this. I did this online competition recently, and I like forgot. And Matt's like, do this and do this and do this, and I'm like, oh man, this is so much better. Well, I'd already tried it once and didn't do as well as I wanted, and then did it again and I did way better, but I was starting to get a little gas. But that's when I had to do my squat after that. I actually did really well on my squat. We had to do a pin squat, but yeah, I just like forgot how to do stones. I wasn't like extending right. I wanted to like, I didn't want to roll it over my knees. I wanted to like deadlift the whole stone up and then set it in my lap. So I was I was using way more energy than I needed to. It was making me slower. So I definitely have to get some stones here in my future soon. Not having regular access makes stones, because I love them. I love stones. Stones, like if I go to Worlds, I want to make day 3 because that's got stones, and stones is definitely one of my top favorite events. Back to what Anthony had brought that up, but car deadlift and stones would probably be right up there. I just hate saying stones right now because I felt like I did like crappy the last time I did them. So it's hard to say I want it to be there right now because I don't think I'm as good as I can be at stones.
Well, you're still loading a stone that weighs 100 pounds more than you. Like that's impressive in itself. No matter if it's the 52 or whatever, you've done a stone that's 100 pounds more than you. So that's you don't think it's impressive. It is.
I think I did it for four reps. Well, I did it for 7. I did it 3, and then I'm like, okay, this isn't working. I stopped, and then I did it again. I restarted and did it again. I did 4 more reps, which I should have at least had 6 in 75 seconds. But it just, like I said, it wasn't. The mechanics weren't there that day, and not having done it was definitely a struggle that day.
How far are you from Matt's house? Like an hour?
Just under. I'm in Harbor Beach, so. Just under an hour. Back to Anthony's. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm only about 15 minutes south of Matt. If you ever need somewhere to train stones and Matt's not available or whatnot, because I'm gonna have bigger stones too. I know you were talking away last time we were at Matt's house. You're talking about you want to do some bigger stones.
Yep.
So
I want to get my hands on some 22s and whatnot, and kind of play with that 400 range. I know that I'm capable of doing. Got a few 90 kg guys that are in that range that I gotta, I kind of always tend to compare myself and see where I'm at, and based on different things, because I want to stay well rounded. But I always compare myself to the best person. That's something they're really good at, but they might not be as good at other things. But I want to be as good as each best person at everything that they're good at. Don't we all? Isn't that what we all want to do? We all want Z's. We all want Z's press. We all want Z's press. We all want Jerry Pritchett's or Eddie's deadlift. We all want Thor's deadlift. We all want, Kieselkowski's just moving ability and pressing ability, and we all want all that stuff. That's just the easiest thing to do.
That's something that I didn't think about much. But last time we were talking, I think it was last podcast, we were talking at the end, and you said it'd be you want a 350 log or we're talking about for the competition for Matt's max log. You're like a 350 log. I was like, 350 logs my goal, or more. And then I was just scrolling through Facebook, and I seen the Arnold where Kieselkowski did a 330-pound circus dumbbell, and it's like one-handed. He's shooting for what I'm shooting for. Like it's my overall PR.
But he doesn't go much over 400 on a log.
I bet you. Well, he's had his tricep injuries. That's been a big, because he injured it the first time, and he came back too soon, and then he completely blew it up, and that's why now.
Yeah, but it's a different. It's oddly enough, I don't compare, and I think Anthony said this last time. You can't compare. You guys were talking about just the differences of them, the weights. Nobody's doing a 660 log, right? Mm-hmm. It's a different movement. You can put more of your whole body into one arm, and you can put more of your whole body into 2 arms, right? You can't. So you're definitely able to one arm press more, so long as with technique involved, more than you can press with 2 arms. Unless you're doing it strict, right? Then you would always press more with 2 arms than you would with 1 arm. But when you get your whole body into it, and you're as explosive as he is it's gonna come together. I watched a couple of lighter guys in my days at OSG and stuff like that, and watching some of how snappy these guys were and they just put that weight up like it's just nothing. You know, it's pretty incredible. Explosiveness makes a huge difference in that press. Now, like, you know, you take the log, and, you know, Kearney, he's obviously explosive, but you look at Z and he's just powerful. You know,
yeah, he doesn't even need leg drive. Like on his 508.
Yeah, I think his knee's been like a quarter. I think he dips his hips like, what, 2 inches maybe, and then presses it, you know.
Iron Bibby or BB or whatever you say his name's the same way. You watch him, he just kind of does that lean back and then press like Eddie when he did that axle. It was the same thing. Yeah, he just kind of just leaned back and pressed for the 476, I think it was, or something like that.
On a fixed axle.
Yeah. But I think like an Olympic background, like we were talking earlier, that plays a lot into it too, especially with you look at some of like the actual Olympic style lifters where they do, I think it's like clean and jerk, where the one you do over your head, where it's 100-something pound person's doing like 300 pounds, and that's like normal. Like that's,
you guys know who Lasha is, right? Look that guy up. LASHA.
Is he the one that did like 500 pounds last year?
He did like 600 and some stupid pounds. He's just a monster. Or maybe not. Maybe it was like just under, it was 585 pounds or something like that. He's so close to 600, it's not even right. It's just incredible. The guy is the explosiveness, and when he does it so easy. It's like, that guy's got like 50 more pounds in the tank. He's got 50 more pounds, and, you know, it probably doesn't, like we were talking earlier, but it's just how easy he moves that weight is incredible. But there's a lot of factors that play into that too. Those guys work 2 lifts over and over and over and over again. That's their life from the time they're little kids until they get older. You can work those things with the types of coaches that they have. You know, you go to China and stuff like that. Those coaches, those guys for the little guys, like Leon Jun there, he is just, the amount of weight he can move is incredible for his body weight and how he does it, and the form and the bracing and everything that he has. It's incredible. But you play in the whip of the bar into it, and there's a lot of other factors that you can help with. Where I'm a split jerker, but only a portion of that really works with the log. The log is tough to transition to that. You know, we're using bearing bars that are needle bearing, freaking $2,000, $3,000 bars that you could spin them and they'll just sit there and spin for 30 minutes. Where, you know, we got an axle that's on a solid axle and it barely spins at all. And, you know, that all those things change this is incredible.
It's 212.
That's a snatch, yeah. Yeah, that was a snatch. Does he got his clean and jerk on there too? Look how fast and beautiful that was. How easy he makes it look.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's the shoes.
484 kilo total. Is that what that says?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Over your head, from the floor.
And the thing about it is, like, looking at him, like if he was in a supermarket, like you would never. It's not like you're looking at Thor, you know, or something like that, where you can tell that they're like, he's a big dude, but he doesn't look like he's just insanely ripped.
Here's a clean and jerk. Just easy. This is the best part right here, is how smooth and easy it goes.
How much is that? Pounds?
So,
I can't really see exactly what that says.
247. So is that like 3 or
That's 500
560
something.
what was it? 248? Oh, that's my calendar, not my calculator. As I'm sharing with everybody here.
247 or 255 is what he's going for
So his
now.
next attempt is 255.
That's insane.
It's 250. 255 is 561.
562. 255 is 562 with the actual. It's 2.221. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. That's for sure. That's more than Z's had over his head. So
I'll, imagine this
Look how
guy.
fast that was.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Imagine if this guy got into strongman.
That's all subjective. You know, it's like what's going to happen is what's his face regular strength is going to come over and log press. I mean, he benches 800 pounds like easy as can be.
Right.
What's his name?
Julius Maddox.
Yeah.
Julius Maddox. Yeah. You know, he's probably going to be a really good log presser. He could probably, if he gets some thoracic extension there, and he can probably he's going to break the record with strict press. Yeah. Just because his static strength is so incredible.
Well, he even said now he doesn't train overhead pretty much at all, except for just every now and then. He said he can throw up 350, and he says he does sets of 5 with it. And it's just
right,
like just without even training it, you're just doing 350 for sets of 5.
So is that 264?
Is that what he ended up hitting? 264?
Yeah.
That's getting up there. That's 582. Yeah, that's the record there. Yep. I knew he was getting close to 600 pounds, and he's got a heavier one it's videoed in the gym. He's got a heavier one. Not that it would be recordable, but yeah. Yep, there's some pretty crazy stuff out there as far as strength, but those countries like that, those guys get paid to do it. Like Russians, those guys, that's a lifestyle. That's their whole life. They get paid to do that. They get everything handed to them. They get paid from the government to train regularly. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Well, technically, we kind of are right now with the semis.
Right now, yeah, sweet.
I'm considering this my check.
Quit my job though.
Well, even with a lot of those sponsorships, there's still a lot where they don't listen to a lot of strongman where they're just like Gary Biceps was talking about how he has to use the air mile. He gets air miles cards, and that's how he flies to these competitions, going to different places. And it's like everyone always, just because you get invited to, going to Abu Dhabi doesn't mean they pay you to go to Abu Dhabi. Especially the smaller guys.
Right. Well, they clash on the coast. I mean, Anthony Furman's doing a big thing there. Look, I hope this. I will hope everybody watches it and kind of like gets into it. They're doing some really cool stuff. I know it's just 105 guys, but his goal is to like look at each weight class and do different special things for them. He's like, I'm not going to bring everybody here. This is a pro. This is what we're going to do. We're going to give some people some chances. And like he's doing, there's going to be a wild card where the fans get to vote for the last person that makes the finals. And he's doing it like 2 days with like 6 groups of 5, like World's Strongest Man style. And you got to qualify for the final day and do all the heats. There's 11 events over 3 days that the final guys are going to have to do. But he's got some really cool events. He's doing like Trump Stone stuff, and he's got some really neat events that are going to be really, really cool. And then he's doing the world or American log lift championships there. I think he's got a couple of record breakers for the women that are like exhibition, that are part of it, that are going to be record breakers, but they're like exhibition to the show. He's got Martins, Lawrence, what's his name? He's got a really big podcast. Yeah.
Big Laws.
Big Laws. Thank you. That's why I couldn't say it. Yeah. Rob Kearney, they're all doing the commentating for it. Just what he's doing is going to be outside of what we're used to, and just super awesome. They're going to have a free live stream. It's all through WUS now. WUS said, we want into this. He starts this thing on his own, and WS says, we want in on that. I mean, that's the Abu Dhabi. I mean, that's one of the biggest comps there is, and they're asking to get in on his comp. We'll sponsor and do it. So now Cory is doing the live stream of it, and I listened to the podcast with him on Darren Zola's podcast. One More Strongcast is his, and he just listened to that recently. And they're doing where you don't have all the downtime on the live stream, where you're waiting for the next event, waiting for something to set up, and you can't see this stuff. So because they're running multiple heats and different events in each heat in different groups, you're going to go here, and then you're going to go over here, and then you're going to go over here. You're not going to have to worry about waiting for them to set up because there'll be constant action throughout the whole entire comp, and he's calling it, your place at the table, and he's giving all these different people like their bios and kind of getting into the personal side of stuff and just kind of making it a different thing. He's going to bring a whole new thing to Strongman. And I think that could really turn into something big. And I'm kind of excited to see how that turns out. And my coach is going to be there. So I really hope he can make day 3 because those are his main events there. That would be huge for him. But like duck walk, he's got to do a duck walk and he's 5'0". So you manage a 45-pound place between your legs trying to walk with him. I've been making fun of him a little bit about it, but it'll be interesting.
Disconnected. He's out of here. Peace.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh,
he's charging him.
Yeah, I was charging it. It was hanging the entire time, so it's like pulling my head like this, and I was trying to. Because as soon as we started, they died.
I thought you were talking to the dog. You're talking to the dog over there. That's how it is.
You call me a dog?
Or me. One of the two. So
do you have any questions for us? Anything?
No, it was cool. I was kind of excited when you guys mentioned about doing it. So I was excited to have the opportunity, and I appreciate it. And I would like to, hopefully this could help me out as much as if it can help you guys out or anything like that. But, I'd like to, if anybody wants to reach out to me or has any questions or anything I can help with, I just like helping people out and finding things. Even if you got a video you want to send me and you're working on something and I can help you or just another set of eyes, I'm open to that. And, feel free to get a hold of me on Facebook Messenger or whatever. Instagram is cool too. So, I like that stuff. So if anybody wants anything from help from me, feel free to reach out. The podcast is cool. I like what you guys are doing, and I look forward to seeing you guys here in the future, whether it be at Matt's or at Matt's Comp or wherever else in between. It was cool.
Yeah, I think we'll for sure we'll both be out there at Matt's, and for future podcasts, we'd love to have you back on again. Maybe when you get closer to some of your competitions. Yeah,
well, you guys. So the last time you guys were having a little lovers quarrel. I'm not signing up unless you sign up, and I'm not signing up unless you sign up. You guys finish this or what? You guys get it handled? Or, you're getting a stimulus money, so it's not a money thing.
Yeah, Tony, you in?
90% in.
Jesus Christ, we are Tony. Just do it and just sign up for it. Commit.
Wait a second. So what you're telling me, Cory, is you're not going to sign up if Anthony doesn't?
Oh no, I'm still signing up, but I'm
okay. So then why? So what's your excuse? Do you remember what?
If I sign up, so like if I go and sign up right now without him, then he'll be like, well, you're already signed up, and I don't want to do it. So if I say I'm not going to do it, if I say I'm not doing it until you sign up, then I'm all for it. The second I see that on the roster that your name's on there, I'm on there.
Okay.
So that's holding your.
How much a month for Choo-Choos and the Small OnlyFans?
Right now, I'm running a special. It's $69 a month right now.
Damn.
Yeah, it's it's high demand, So yeah. I'm running a special. It's a 2-for-1 though. So if you buy for 1 month, you get 2, and then you get a personalized shout out during you get a personalized shout out during the video
during the Choo-Choos. All right, there's an in-between.
You gotta bring me some Redcon booty shorts there, Anthony.
You know what? I will. I'll look at them, bud. I know
what you're talking about. I just am making sure you guys hold up to your word. I'm going to keep you guys accountable.
Let me see if they got them in stock still. Those are choice in the shorts. Oh man. They got them in every single size still. Oh, except for. Well, they got them extra small and large. So
that's extra small is going to be probably right. Is that you want them tight, right?
Well, yeah, but I don't know that I could fit it into an extra small. I'm thinking about it. They're probably women's sizes, so I'm pretty sure I cannot fit into an extra small.
Either that, or I get you. I can't remember what they were called. They're like the military olive drab shorts. I get you some of them too.
The PT shorts.
Right on.
Yes.
Yep. I got a question for you guys.
Okay.
If you guys got time,
yeah, Absolutely, I got all night, man.
Something
I work night shift.
No, something I don't know. I just thought of a random question. If you had to take one, you can only take one piece of equipment, one piece of gear, whatever, to a comp. What would you be? I'm pretty sure I know your answers, but I'm just curious.
I can only take one thing to a comp.
Yep.
For lifting gear, probably deadlift straps.
Oh, that's a good. I didn't think
I
that.
didn't
That wasn't
think
where
of
my head was at.
That wasn't where my head was at either, but that's a wise one. I guess it depends on the events, really. If it's more, I know you're gonna say it don't fucking matter. So, I'm going.
That leads me to another question after that. After you answer this one.
All right, I'll go with. I guess it would be safe to bring a belt.
Yeah, I was gonna say belt myself.
That's
Which I'm kind of mad. I'm kind of mad about that because like I kind of prize myself on my core and just bracing and all that stuff. Because deadlift straps is a pretty good idea. So Anthony wins this one if there's a winner.
Yeah.
So
I've been to a competition before, and the only thing I didn't take with me was deadlift straps because we weren't supposed to deadlift, and it rained that morning. So instead of doing a car carry, we ended up having to do a Hummer tire deadlift. So, and I didn't have any deadlift.
How do you go from a car carry to a Hummer deadlift? How they just randomly had that Hummer deadlift? That's kind of like a whole different piece of equipment.
They do have the setup there for it. So
that's cool.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. That's your question.
Here's my question. I don't know how this turned into me asking questions, just because I'm curious and I don't get to talk to people because I live, where I live. I don't want to talk about farming and what color tractor you drive. Sorry, Cory.
Exactly. It's all right.
But what seed you're planting for the season and what your return is going to be and how many hundreds of thousands of dollars you guys have in all your 47 tractors and how poor all the farmers are in the world. I don't want to hear.
I own a lawn care business. How the fuck did this turn into me being?
Oh, I thought you were in farming too.
I grew up in it and I got out.
Right. So back to my question, or not necessarily a question, but I am a fan of mystery events, of not announcing all the events. I would love to do some competitions, but nobody will show up because everybody's a bunch of little girls. Sorry, I'm getting crude here as I get later in the evening, but I shouldn't say girls. Everybody says wimps because there's probably more girls that would do it because they're less scared of that kind of stuff. But not knowing the events, well, I can't control that. It's like, I'm a CrossFitter, I guess, so that's kind of part of it. You don't know what you're going to get. But send it. I mean, be well-rounded. Mm-hmm. Don't come in, I'm going to do this comp because it's all my strength so I can do well.
Yeah. I've said that too. Like I was talking to Matt about that. Is like I don't think a lot of the contests should post the weights. Like they can tell you that there's a stone run, but I don't think because the problem is well, people will see it and then the first thing they go is, oh, I can't pick up a 300-pound stone, so I ain't gonna do this. Like you never even tried it. You're just assuming right off the bat because you've just seen 300 pounds and you think that's it's like you never know. So I think they should just say like, oh, there'll be a stone run and then a deadlift. They won't tell you exactly what kind of deadlift, but a deadlift. So like you're saying, so you got to go in being well-rounded and more prepared because I kind of hate it where people just do their 12-week prep of literally just doing, yoke, stones, and this. I'm like, you should be like, what happens if it, like Tony said, where it rained and then all of a sudden he trained just 12 weeks doing nothing but a car carry and now they threw it, it's just like, in the end, every competition, I like to have different things at every comp. I don't want to go to a comp that has a deadlift, an overhead, a yoke, and then stones. Like it kind of gets boring after a while. Like I want to have.
We didn't take a shot right at Matt there. Nice.
What? No, we have. Oh, dude,
literally all four of those. Nice, good job. Cool.
No, we didn't have a Husselfeld. I didn't say Husselfeld, so I love.
Yes, but you said 4 of the 5. You said 4 of the 5.
I said all the same things, Nick. You gotta take the words into perspective. So that's only 80% of the things.
Yeah, right.
But Matt's comp runs great though. That's the thing. Like, we had technical difficulties at Motor City in 2018. Which made that whole day a lot longer and more complicated. But Matt's contest last year
still went well. I mean, considering all the situation, I mean, they still did a good job.
Yeah. But like then you hey, and then you look at it.
Sorry.
And then you look at Matt's contest where we were actually going too fast last year. Like we had the first 3 events done in like 40 minutes, and it's like, oh shit, we need to slow down. You shut up.
I was at nationals in 2019 in Ohio, and we did that was the biggest nationals ever. And some people I've heard recent talk of, I don't want to run a comp like that because there's this many people and you're just kind of a number. I'll tell you what, it was 400 some odd people, and that comp ran so dang smooth. Now you're going in your spot, and you got to be in your spot. You're always behind X person and stuff like that. You know what? I knew where I was going to be at all day. I knew you just went in and you did your work, and that's all there was. I wish they would re-situate every time because I like the strategy of Strongman and playing the points and kind of working my way through and doing that stuff. I really like that part of it. I've gotten beat at comps because of that same situation. Somebody being able to go after me and you just get one more rep. And I'll tell you right now, if I can, I'm going to give you as many reps as I can this event, which might be 17 or whatever, 18, and the next person can get 19. But if I went after 19, I'll guarantee you 17 wasn't where I was stopping. And there would have been something else that would have kicked in and told me I had to get 20, and I would have done that. So I see it in both ways, But nationals was awesome, was cool. As many people as they ran it, and how fast the day went, and how smooth everything went. I had no complaints. I thought it was good with that style.
Oh, cool.
I was 181 there. That was my last 181 cut. I think I finished 5th or 6th at nationals in 181.
So you've competed in everything from. So what was your lightest? Is that your lightest 181?
No, it was 176, which is 80 kilo.
So you went all the way from 180. What's the heaviest you competed at?
Against you?
Well, I meant like in an actual weight class.
No, 90. I've always competed at 90. Well, I started at 90 because that was my walk around weight. I didn't know I wasn't weight cutting or anything like that. And then I think I did a few comps at 90, and then I cut down. I had to talk to Aaron because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just naive and not sure what to do. And he's like, "You can cut that," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I just did it, and then it was cool. And then I competed at Motor City a couple times as a lightweight as well. So funny story. One time, how'd that work? One time I cut weight. Had to come weigh in the day of. Was good when I left the house. Got there and I was like 2.5 pounds over. And so I commenced to putting on the suit and I started running. And I sat in the van with the heat on and I ran. And I think the cutoff was like 9:30 or something. The event started at 10. And at 9:29, I was on the scale and I was 0.2 over. I took my underwear off and I made weight right there. And so I had to recomp now in like 20 minutes and started competing. And I finished second. I was absolutely pissed. I was so freaking mad because I got second place and and it was a sweet, there was like a freaking 4-foot long sword. It was amazing. And the whole time, I'm like, I'm just so bummed because my kids are going to be so mad that I didn't get to bring home that sword. I got this cute little medal. And I was quite bummed.
I know.
So I did the exact same thing when I wrestled. One weekend, I wrestled 215, and then next weekend, I wrestled again, and I was overweight for 215, so I had to go heavyweight. So when I wrestled the weekend before, I smoked this kid. It was Greco-Roman tournament. I smoked him, pinned him in the first period. The next weekend, he kicked my ass because I spent all week trying to stay at 215, cutting down, and I was so exhausted by the time I got there, and he didn't give a fuck and went heavyweight and kicked my ass. I was like, oh, go fucking figure.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is there's a couple people out there that beat me a couple times or beat me in events, and everybody knows I'm competitive. So it's like those guys, they know how much it bothers me more than like just regular. I don't. If you're not first, you're last. Ricky Bobby. It's my motto. I even tell my kids it's if you're not first, you're last, but you learn more from a loss than you do from a win. It's definitely something I probably should get away from that mentality. so that I don't get overly worked up about it, but I definitely don't. Especially when you're that close. When you're that close, I just like.
You mean like you like a point?
Like, yeah, but yeah.
Here's the best thing about that is even if I were to beat you, everyone would be like, yeah, you should. You weigh more than him. Like it's a lose-lose for me either fucking way. I would have to drop down to 200 pounds, beat you, and then finally that's the only time I could be like, yeah, there we go. I beat Nick I have to weigh 1 pound less than you and then beat you by 1 point. Then that will settle that I can finally, that's the only way I can brag about it.
But yeah, you're taller.
Yeah, you got an advantage on the stones.
Yeah,
your shoe size is bigger. You can walk. Your gait's bigger. Like,
right.
But no, that's one thing. It's funny. Matt always talks about that too. He's just like, yeah, it's a lose for me. Like no matter how I can go in there and then be, hey, like I can squat 700 pounds. Do it. Yeah, you're supposed to. You're bigger. Like it's always a lose. There's never like, wow, that actually is impressive, because that's the thing. Like you, where it's like. He pulled 950 pounds at a 200 or 190 pounds or whatever you were. It's just like, and I could say I pulled 950. You're like, yeah, you should. And it's just like, oh.
Well, and there were some good pullers there, and I think I don't think anybody of all the heavyweights and all that things. I don't think anybody got.
Yeah, you were the heaviest
in the nines. Yeah, I don't think anybody was in the nines.
I think Webb was the closest, and I don't.
Who was that? Yeah.
I can't remember.
I didn't know him. I just knew him like. From comps, like hey, that guy's strong. I'll tell you what, that's a cool dude. He's one cool cat. He's a good dad. He takes care. I mean, his Facebook is one of my favorites because I just he takes good care of his kids. He's always doing something with them, and he puts the work in every day. You'll post these weights, and you're like, that's like you think he can pull more than that, but he just hits the programming, holds the course, comes the comp, and kicks your ass. You know what I mean? He just does that. When you're seeing all these other guys that are going to compete in that same class and they're pulling 800 pounds for, this, that, and they're doing all this stuff. And he's over here pulling 500 for 10 reps and then, 585 for this many reps. And and you see all these but when it comes to comp day, he comes to perform, and he's very just easy going, but he's well seasoned. He's been around the sport for a long time. And I got to meet him a little bit more at Static Monsters. And I kind of took a appreciation to him. I don't know if he knows that. It probably sounds like I'm being like a lovely guy or something, but no, he's just a really, really cool guy. And I've liked following him in his school. He's a Michigan guy, and he's super, super strong. So
yeah, for sure. I hate him.
Good presser too.
Jokingly, I said I hate him because we have to compete against him in the same weight class. But no, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, he'll help you out. He'll tell you anything,
It's interesting to watch him and Harmon go head to head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and that was I don't want to be. I didn't know Harmon. He's always seemed he was kind of rude, kind of ignorant a little bit, and I don't know him, so I don't want to talk bad about him. So I don't mean that, but that was my instant reading of the guy, and he seems like a pretty cool guy too. The last couple of times I've seen him around, I don't really talk to him, but he seems he's a hell of a competitor. And they were at Great Lakes the year prior when it was inside there, and it was cool seeing those two go at it and work and stuff. So or Michigan's, seen them at Michigan's too.
Yep.
They're strong dudes. Figure eights or regular straps?
Regular.
Me too. I hate figure eights.
I can't
figure it out.
So the only time I've ever
used four pairs, and I can't figure any of one of them out.
I don't have any pairs, and the only time I ever used them was over at Matt's on that car deadlift, and it was I can't remember his name, not Brian, but his brother let me use them, and I had no idea. I had no idea how to use them. Yeah, I had no idea how to use them. He handed, here, try these. I'm like, how?
He's over there. How do you untie him?
I just figured out that the strap has to go across your hand this way. I mean, not a regular strap.
I bought the long and the short, for the axles and stuff like that for my coach, because he had some branded from his company, and I got some Cerberus ones. The different style. It's not like the regular style. They're I don't know what you call them. They're a little bit thinner.
Mm-hmm.
I got both long and short of those. I can't figure it out. But I do have the wow straps, which is weird because you think a figure 8 strap is really super basic. Just stick your hands in them and hook on and go. Where the wow straps, there's a whole like process to tying into them. But when you're tied, those things are just ruthless. I love my wow straps, and a lot of times I just use them as a regular strap too. Just when I'm pulling regular, I don't sit down. I don't want to sit down in the hole for too long or whatever. But I'm a wow strap guy.
It was definitely interesting.
My service double plies.
It was definitely interesting watching you strap into that 955, and because I was there standing right next to you. I've seen you use those straps, but not the way that you were hooking onto them, how you fed it back through, and it was interesting.
Yeah, that's how they're designed to be used.
That Matt has the ones that go over your hand and then like through or something like that, and then like around.
Yeah, there's a metal ring on them. It straps around your wrist, kind of like a regular strap, if you will. But then you go under the bar over your hand. Yep. Under the bar, over your hand, so then it's around your wrist, under the bar, over top of your hand, and then you wrap it so it's in your hands. But I don't know, man. Once they're like $60 or $70, but worth every dollar. I love them. I think they're great. I really, really enjoy them. I got some. I bought my wife some of the double ply Cerberus, and those are actually quite nice too. It just takes a long time to break them in because they're so thick because of the double ply. And they're so stiff. So you always feel like you're loose in the hands. Your hands are holding big, like you're holding axle, and you shouldn't be holding axle. But those are actually quite nice too.
Yeah, I try to train raw as much as possible just to build my grip up, and I only use straps if I end up for a competition. I'll always use straps just because it's an advantage. But I noticed competing at the Arnold, the Arnold amateurs, they have the deadlift ladders for time. So you pretty much have to use figure 8s in order to hurry up, get on it, rip it, and go. But yours, it wouldn't be very good for time. If you had 4 bars.
So we got Worlds, we have a 4-bar deadlift ladder.
Do you? And
I think the top bar is 675 for my weight class, and I think it starts out 485, 495, 585, 625, 675 or something like that. The intention would be to hook grip the first 3 bars.
Yep.
And then I'll strap in the last bar, but I most likely, if I can move it as easy as I'm hoping to be able to move it by then, I probably will I'll have them on my wrists. I won't even do anything with them. The only thing is they're so long, I don't want to trip on them. But I've actually done that where I've just been doing that, and I moved my feet in when I had my suit on, and I freaking stepped on it, and I couldn't move my legs because I'm in my suit, and I'm trying to get off of it. Actually, when I pulled my first PR with my suit, I was at Shane Rickman's gym there, Strength Depot, and he does that January 1st thing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm on there. It's a video of Zach's coming up and ripping it off underneath my foot because he knows I'm stuck there and getting it out of the way. But yeah, that would be the goal is just to. Because I'm so used to them and how they feel on me, I would like to keep it that way. But I won't do the full wow wrap unless I know that's the best way for me to pull it. Because if it's slipping or if there's something weird going on, whatever, it's the 4th or 5th event, I don't know. I want to make sure everything's – because every point there counts. It is really crucial. And I want to make day 3. You got to be top 10 to make day 3. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I trained. I worked recently. I got up to 585 raw, no straps, and that's
jelly.
Well, that's with Matt. Where I was at his house, and he was doing his deadlift medley that he was doing when he was working with the axle and then the lug, and I think he had 405 on the axle, and I was I'll get that around and double overhanded that, pulled that up pretty easy, and I was that's what I want to try to hit. I want to be able to do everything raw without doing hook grip. Because I'm scared, because that's where everyone tears their bicep. You see all the videos. No, not
all the hook grips, neutral or mixed grip. All the torn biceps.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Hook grip. That's why you hook grip, because you don't tear your biceps. No torn biceps with hook grip.
I thought this was hook grip. Oh, I always do double overhand.
Hook grip is with your thumbs,
I've never done that. I've never done that.
So Kaylor Woolham, those guys, they pull hook grip. Yuri Belkin. Who's probably one of the best powerlifters in the world. I think he is probably the best powerlifter in the world. He's a hook grip guy. Those guys pull hook grip, but yeah, mixed grip. which would be like this.
Oh, okay.
That's a bicep puller.
Yeah, that's one I see a lot of people. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I've never tried hook grip though. So you put your thumb like under, like, so you grab the bar, put your thumb underneath the bar, and put your hand over your thumb.
Yep. Yeah. So like, if you're ever gonna do the Denny Stones, hook grip, it's like a hybrid hook grip, but you hook grip. That's how most of the guys carry the Denny Stones. Is hook grip, or especially your lighter guys. I mean, I don't know. Brian Shaw probably didn't, but
yeah, he probably palmed it.
yeah, but it's like 700 pounds to Brian Shaw. That's not like nothing.
Yeah.
But you got the guy, the one cat. I can't remember. He's always at Arnold all the time. Wears the kilt and stuff like that. He's got the long hair. His like dad did it, and I think he's done it. He's like 156 pounds, and he's carried the Denny Stones, and he just picks them up like nothing,
I don't know. Have you seen Shaw's new video where he got those new deep dish plates from Rogue?
No,
those black ones. Yeah,
No.
So Rogue recently started making, because the deep dish plates. Remember, did you watch his show, The Strongest Men in the World, or whatever it was?
Yeah.
So when he went into Paul Anderson's house, he found those York deep dish plates in the basement, and he asked if he could have one. They're like 2 inches thick, like the brim. But anyway, Rogue just started making those, and he tried. What do you say? He tried to order like.
He got put on the wait list for them.
Yeah, he got waitlisted from Rogue because he bought a pallet of weights, and but now he has them, and dude, those things look so badass. I don't know if Tony could pull up a picture of those things.
Like I can put more weights on the bar than that bar that can hold, and you're stuck. So you got to have an elephant bar in order to use them.
Mm-hmm. He uses them. He's been posting videos. He trains just with those now on most bars just because they look badass.
Yeah, but they're not. That's what I mean. Like, he can only fit 6 plates on there, and you can't put any more plates on it. And like 6 plates to him is like a warm-up set,
Well, not as hundos.
Well, still, yeah.
But the hundos are bigger yet. Do they have them? Yeah. Oh, that's 100.
That's 100 right there.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. They might be able to fit 600 on there. So yeah, that'd be
actually made in Detroit.
Are they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's got this
in Detroit, or are they made up in up north there, where they make the kettlebells?
Well, that's a good question. I thought it said made in Michigan, but I thought it said on the box when he was unboxing them that they were made in Detroit. I could be wrong. Yes, there's
a place they make the new cast iron kettlebells up in where is that? It's kind of south of Traverse City, Cadillac area.
Yeah, it's in between. I know where you're talking. It's kind of in between. What is it, Gaylord and Traverse City?
Something
big
like that, yeah.
Big factory. Yeah, I passed.
I think they make like the sewer drains and all that stuff too.
Yep.
Yeah, but I know they have a casting plant there that make a lot of that stuff.
Yep, made in Cadillac.
Yep, Cadillac.
Okay.
So how much is a 45?
45 pounds.
A pair of them is $155.
Ooh. Well, I guess that's not too crazy.
Ain't too bad
compared to what it is now. The price.
The pair of hundreds is $305. Yeah, if they're in stock, it looks like they're in stock.
It's just over $1.50 a pound for the hundreds. 3 inches wide though. Jeez.
Yeah, Matt just got all those hundos from Facebook.
Yeah, I don't know what he paid for those, but I know the asking price he had on them was like ridiculous, but I think Matt got them for quite a bit cheaper. Well, they were like 5 minutes from your guy's house. I looked at them because I'm like, oh, those are close. And then I looked at it, he wanted like $750 for some used, for like 4 used hundreds or something like that. And I'm like, nope. But Matt said he got them. He said he got a deal on them.
Yeah, because that's not even including the shipping. I don't even want to know how much the fucking shipping is on.
Well, and that was the cool thing too, is he got them close because the shipping, Rogue shipping is just astronomical.
So I remember him saying that, like, even though it's only $300 on Rogue, but after shipping, it's probably another $100 just to ship those 2 hundos. So you're looking at $400 just for 2 plates.
And in like 2 months, Titan will make them, and they'll be free shipping.
Well, dude, Titan is pissing me off. Their website's like, they send me the email every day, like, everything is back in stock. And you're like, sweet. You go to click on it, and it says, back ordered until like fucking June, and it's like, it's in stock, but it's back ordered for another 3 months.
Order it now, but wait for the ship to arrive from China.
I just got a GHD. I like their GHD quite a bit. I got their we have one at the garage, the barn there, and we ordered one for our house. My wife likes to use it too, so I ordered one of those, and it was that deal. It's in stock, but it won't. That was in January, and it's like it won't deliver till March 15th or something like that. March or whatever, early March, because it's here now. I just got it, so
that's what I was going to use my first.
Or no, it did say March 15th, but it came out like it went 2 weeks early. So
that's why my friend Rory, who's watching, she ordered, I believe, a T2 rack, and she said it showed up a month earlier than it was supposed to. So she's had issues trying to get a squat rack for her place. She ordered one off Amazon, and it never showed up, and she finally had to file a dispute with them to get her money back, and it was a mess. But she must have got notified there was T2s in stock and got one.
Yeah, they just came in. Yeah, I just saw that the other day. I know Dave was looking at getting one, the T2 rack. But it's there's definitely a quality difference. I mean, there is no doubt, but we have a bit of Titan equipment over there, and I don't know. I haven't had any problems, but I mean, my MMA days, like Rocky Balboa style, it was gritty. We taped up mats and this, that. I mean, it was just gritty, and that's kind of like I've kind of taken an appreciation to that. I don't want all the bells and whistles. I tell Matt that Matt's a big fan of training with all of his gear on. I'm a big fan of training with nothing. Mm-hmm. And then like a couple times before comp day, it's, okay, now I'll throw some stuff on. Now I am trying it out a little bit more now because I want to see if I get any different. I want to get changes out of it. Like I talked about data, but I very rarely put my Ray-Ban pants shorts on, and I watch everybody put them on every single time. And I don't wear them almost ever. Unless it's comp or so. I do wear my knee sleeves because I for a long time my knees were kind of beat up, and when I drilled that till I figured it out. But I figured out my knees, and my knees are the best they've ever felt in my life. The only thing that kills my knees is if I have to kneel at work for a long time. But the jerks and all that stuff used to like irritate my knee for a day, or just real bottoms out squats and stuff like that. I would be tender for a couple of days, and now they're gold. I'm more flexible than I ever was, and but I do wear my knee sleeves to keep my knees healthy. But wrist wraps, knee sleeves, and that's like I do like the Cerberus worn belt. The belt underneath. That adds a few reps. So the soft belt,
Yeah, I wear those patella bands on my knees, and I stopped actually wearing knee sleeves for a while now. I haven't worn them, but I need a new pair because my pair are over a year old, so they're pretty well worn in. And so that's one thing. But I've just been wearing those patella bands and wrist wraps and a belt. It's pretty much the only thing I have. And it's just like keep it basic, because then like you were saying, if I get too dependent on having brand new elbow sleeves, and then I wear them out before a comp or whatever like that, and it can throw things off. And I just want it to be as simple and easy as possible.
Well, my thought is like, okay, I hit a log PR and I didn't have all my gear on. Now I got to go to a comp, and it makes it easier. You know what I mean? It makes it essentially better. Plus, you've already done 2 or 3 events or whatever, or you got to do 3 or 4 events after that. So it's like the suit. I was a dead set against suits, and I didn't think the suits were the best way to go, and I'm going to be cooler than that. I'm going to be stronger than that. I'm going to pull it raw. And over time, I realized like that's not smart thinking in a competitive stand. And I know guys that say I'm one of those, pound for pound is still stronger than the world's strongest kind of guys. So I got to be careful. I don't ever win that battle, especially you got a couple heavyweights here. So, but the suit is definitely like something that will save me reps in the end. Well, does it really add more reps to my lift? Not necessarily, maybe 1 or 2, but does it give me a little more pop out of the hole? Yep. But when 9 times out of 10, when stones are at the end and you've already done a deadlift and you did a throwing thing, now you got a throwing vent, now you got to do stones and your posterior chain's fried, it becomes a factor there where now it's not just about getting more weight or more reps, it's about being technically good in your competing and being ready, and playing playing every card that you can, So they have their place, but I don't train in it very often. I put that suit on like I think a half a dozen times before I pulled 955. I don't know. Anthony, you were there. Did you see I think it was my 855 or something that I pulled, and somebody was like, I thought I got hurt, or maybe it was 905. I don't know. I like jumped back and like jumped up real quick. I think it was 905. I jumped back and jumped up real quick, and somebody thought I pulled something. Yeah, I did. It was a testicle. It was freaking, that suit was so far up my.
Oh, really?
Rolled my nut. It was like incredibly. I'm like, oh my god.
So is that right before George ran up to you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he grabbed.
Okay,
and
I remember. Okay, I remember that now. Okay, yep.
Somebody's like, I thought you pulled your hamstring. I'm like, no, it's just my nut. I think it's inside me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when George ran up to you. You were kind of hesitant about him coming up to you real quick, and I'm like, I wonder what happened there. And then he came out and did the 955. I'm like, nothing happened to him there. So
no, it was just my balls in my body, not in my sack.
I haven't tried a suit. I know like everyone. I've always wanted. I've seen everyone doing them. I was like, I don't know, try it at some point. I've always like most comps now, like the bigger ones, like the Arnold and them. I don't think you can wear suits at all.
It depends. Sometimes they let you use them, sometimes they don't. Like Nationals this year isn't letting it happen, but some comps they do. Like it's hit or miss. It's really back and forth. I think you are seeing a few more that don't have it. Nationals, they always have a funny way of writing the rules because they want to answer. They know they're going to have like 400 people come, and they're going to have 400 of the freaking most ridiculous questions. So they answer. If you ever read the rules on Nationals, it becomes quite comedic in the FAQ there, in the facts area, and they answer all these things. And basically, the deadlift suit thing was like, not everybody can afford one. Let's just all, not be sissies or something. Something along those lines. And
sure.
I'm going to send it either way. So it is what it is. I'm not like mad about it. So I pulled technically right now. I pulled more raw than I have in a deadlift suit because I don't. It's just it's a piece of equipment that I use when I need it, when it's necessary. It's not a power adder. It's a power prolonger. We'll call it that.
I'm gonna wear a multiply suit for all my future comps and everything. Just wear it for like the yoke and everything, like that one guy.
Yeah, Sowards there. I'll tell you, he was at Worlds. I've met him. He's cool. Really, actually one of the most humble, easiest going, nicest guys. He's a pastor, and he just really, really cool. He prays for everybody before most comps and everything like that. He's a really nice guy. He just likes to do some theatrical, dramatic type stuff. Did you see the squat with the deadlift with the crowbars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too. He's got the bar on his back. I'm like, that bar is going to take him out. It's like tipping all over the place. He's got the crowbars in his hand. He bends over and picks up the. I'm like, gosh, that guy is asking. He lets Jesus take the wheel a lot. So, when he's doing those things.
Do you follow Stan Efforting on Instagram?
Oh yeah.
Did you see his last thing he posted?
Today?
Yeah, where they had the bar, like the fucking bar is sitting like right here.
That's a Mars bar. That's a Mars bar. It's designed like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that just for explosiveness or?
No, it just changes the loading position. So like your Brandon Moore's he's been using one. I think they have one at RPG now. I know a couple guys, like I know a lightweight guy actually beat at Michigan's strongest. He got third place. Ross from Millard, he's got like as a lightweight, he's got a 715-pound deadlift or something like that. And he uses one. He trains with Rob Kearney quite a bit, but he uses it. I've seen other guys use them, but that was the Mars bar. That's the way it loads is totally different. It's really, really heavy back loading, and you can move. Yeah, it's like all the other stuff, right? I use a cambered bar. I use a cambered bar a lot. My coach loves the cambered bar because of the instability. It kind of can pull you around. So we use that a lot for training. So
yeah, Matt had that cambered bar sitting in his little shed that he let me borrow, and that's one I've been using for the last couple of weeks. And that thing because I've never used specialty bars. I guess I've always just used a straight squat bar. and that throws a completely different. It makes it just 100% different squat when you start using that bad boy.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like I used it for enough times that when I went to a straight bar, it threw me off. Like because the weight's up here on my shoulders and not like below me, right? Because you can kind of hold that bar and kind of control where the weight's at a little bit.
Yeah,
you can't do that when a barbell's on your back. It's where it's at, but it's a different feel. So yeah, the Mars bar is pretty cool. And it's like a $1,200 bar or something crazy. So I'm not buying one anytime soon.
That's
So
just
they
like
had-
that. Oh, go ahead.
No, when I was at the Redcon 1 gym, they had a Mars bar that came in not long before I was there, and I didn't load it up and use it, but I put it on my back just to see the feel of it. It was, it's sits lower on your back than like my SSB does for sure. So it was an interesting bar.
Well, there's a piece of equipment, like cool piece of equipment. I would like. I don't know why, but I think that it would be very good for strongman, and you kind of see him every once in a while. Donna Moore trains with one all the time, the power pole.
Oh yeah,
looks like you got it. There you go. I tell you though, I will tell you. Think about where that's weight loaded and putting it out in front of you, like that cantilever out in front of you, and what kind of control you have to have in your upper back to hold that up and keeping your hips, keep your core tight. I'll tell you. Again, about body mechanics and things that I like that one instantly to me was like, the things that are going through my head, the ideas that are going through my head, I'm like, that would load you in a way that it'd be so hard to simulate, but you could overload on that so easily with minimal weight to simulate front loaded carries and just different things and just bracing and upper back strength and stuff. So I would be interested in something like that. I don't even know who makes it or where you get one, if you can get one only in other countries or.
You can probably have Matt fab one up for you in the shop.
He's got that front squat thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of off of a version of that. It's kind of a.
Well, just weld a bale spear to that, and then you can put the weights on the bale spear, and there you go, back to the farmer.
He can put it on, and he can chase you around, and you get probably, you guys would have fun.
Link in description.
Yeah.
So I was trying to remember because Brian Shaw was using one in his new gym when he first moved up there. One of those, I can't remember what he called it. He even said where he got it from. So
I think it's called the power pole, but it might be POHL. I think it's because the guy that made it is like his last name is Pole, POHL or something like that. I think it's power pole. I think.
You can probably find one at Lover's Lane.
There you go. You can probably find one on Cory's OnlyFans.
Oh, it's Chuck Vogel pole.
It's a different kind of power pole.
Yeah.
And yours vibrates and stuff like that.
Mine has over 14 speeds and functions, so.
Yeah.
$345.
Oh, it's Chuck Vogelfohl's the ideal? That makes sense.
Yep, Chuck Vogel.
So Chuck Vogel. Power pole, Vogelfohl. See what they did there?
Haha. You got a picture of that?
Yeah, he was a pretty weak guy. Yeah.
I could fab something up like that.
Looks like a strap on.
So there's not even like add to cart or anything like here. it's just
get your power pole here, baby.
Get your power pole here. 300. It tells you how much it is, but there's not like an add to cart to buy it.
That's probably not available right now.
It's interesting.
See if Slater's can make one.
There you go.
Yeah, see, I got Jeff down here saying I'm sure Cory has some polls on his OnlyFans. Hey, man, $20 is $20. That's all I can say at the end of the day.
Yeah.
As long as the light bill's paid.
The only mobility you have is grabbing your ankles.
I wish. That'd be. I think so. Yeah, that's one question I was going to ask you was hamstring mobility on different things you can work on. Back to being serious for a second. What are some techniques if you have really tight hamstrings? Besides, like, cause I have an IQ mobility ball, so I've been working on loosening the glutes and trying to get my. I just recently, after watching Squat University, found that my ankles and my calves are super tight. So like on the squat position, when we have the loaded squat position where you just like hold out a little plate and squat down as low as you can go, then kind of like lean to one side and back and forth. I know that my ankles are super tight. Same like my calves, all those. What kind of things could you do to work on that?
Your calves or your ankles or your hamstrings?
Started with the hamstrings.
You started with a hamstring. So there's a few things. It depends on your hip structure. Your hip structure could play a factor in that and what you need to do in finding that neutral and getting to that activation and what activates your hips. People always reach down and grab their toes and stuff like that. And a lot of that doesn't activate the hips proper or activate the hamstrings properly. What you got to do is keep a braced core, if you will, not like tight, but you want your back to be flat, and then you fall forward. So don't think about reaching your toes. You might be reaching out in front of you to touch the floor and feel that stretch in your hamstrings and your glutes. There might be things in there that are just tight that you're having trouble with, and what could be causing that? It could be something totally different. Your piriformis, you could have tight psoas because think about what do you have like a anterior tilted pelvis or?
Yeah. So I recently, that's one thing I found at the video. Basically, my feet, I have not so much like pointed out, but like they're not straight ahead, but they're in between being pointed out and pointed ahead. So that would be anterior, right? I think is what they're saying.
Well, an anterior tilted pelvis would be like if you stand like next, look in a mirror and your belt, say you had a belt on and it was tipped forward lower in the front than it was in the back.
Oh, okay. So I was talking in and out with the hips.
Yeah, that's just the way your hip mechanics work. But you need to open those hips up. So like Squat University hip airplanes are awesome. Mm-hmm. But you can do some banded joint mobility where you do it's like a lunge, if you will. But you get that hip, you get the band right up inside your groin area, inside your hip there, and sit into that and like feel that out and kind of open those hips up, because maybe it sounds like to me, and you very minimal information, but the way your feet are out, there's some joint binding there that's causing you to not be able to move efficiently enough. So getting that joint kind of freed up so that it moves properly might help free up those hamstrings. So obviously, because it's been like that for so long, there's going to be some tightness there that's just going to have to be worked through. As far as like you get into your calves and your ankle mobility, you got to stretch that Achilles. One of my biggest fears is like blowing my Achilles tendons out. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do that. So I've always kind of like maintained a flexibility in my Achilles and stuff like that. So you can definitely smash your quad or your calves, but a lot of times it might be a tightness in your front too, or your IT band, because your IT band reaches all the way down into the back of your calf and all the way up, and then that pulls into your glute med. You get your glute med, and then all of a sudden you got glute med issue, or then now we're talking the psoas, and we get into that anterior tilted pelvis, because usually with tight hamstrings, it might pull you down in one spot, but if you have weak glutes because your glutes aren't activated, that might be why your hamstrings are so tight.
So I never trained glutes or never focused on glute activation until I started learning more, like when I switched watching Squat University and learning about how to activate. So doing like the hip bridges during part of my warm up, like doing the hip bridges, and then doing I forget the move that he called it, but it's basically like the psoas stretch, but then you put your hand down on the ground and then you like lean into it like this, basically, and then open up all the way to the top, doing that, activating glutes. Once I did that, I found that getting down into position. Remember how I told you last time we were at Matt's? I was like, yeah, my knee hurts. Well, you got to figure out why your knee hurts. Right. It's not just like, oh, my quad hurts. So I think it was my hip flexor was over super tight, which wasn't allowing me to, like when I go to squat, I was so focused on not having my knees go over my toes, like the knee and toe whole thing, that I wasn't even focusing on what the problem was my hips was not hinging. So like I said at the beginning of the podcast, when I was squatting, I always loosened my knees before my hips. So what would happen is my hips would still be straight, my knees would go down, and then I would bend forward because I wouldn't hinge my hip first. So I wasn't sitting back in the squat. All my weight was forward. And I think that
are you a better squatter than you are a deadlifter?
No, my squat's probably my worst.
Yeah, you're not quad dominant.
Mm-mm.
So you're leaning forward, so as if you're using your quads to use most of your work, but you're actually just pulling into the tension of your hamstrings.
Yeah.
more so than anything. Yeah.
And then on top of that, I wasn't using my ass at all. So like even on the lockout coming back up, I wasn't squeezing and keeping everything tight. Basically, when I was coming up, I was just coming straight up and standing. And like the coach was telling me some pointers on how to activate, make sure everything's working. So break it down for me. I needed basically to have 3 cues, like break my hips, break that in my hips, then come down, maintain that. Imagine there's a PVC pipe on your back, like maintain that angle the whole time. And then leg press out of the hole, make sure your hips and your upper body is coming up at the same time in order to, so that way you don't have like fast, because that was another issue I had was fast hips, slow back.
Right. You're strippering it up. Yeah.
Yeah. And then working on that, I've been working the shit out of that. Like that's how I'm doing 4 sets of 10 on my squat days right now. And like last week I did 315 for 4 sets of 10. Just every single rep was come up, lock out, think about it, hips, knees, everything up. Like instead of just going like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I was focused on each one, making sure everything was activated. And like the next day I could feel it in my hamstrings and my ass was tight, and that's never happened before. So that's when I know that I was actually activating them. Yeah, I felt it in my ass. There you go. I know you wanted that for the OnlyFans.
Yeah, there's a lot of variabilities. Again, you're a taller guy, so your mechanics are going to be quite a bit different than mine. I mean, I don't know if you're a long femur guy or what your situation is, but it sounds to me like you got a hip wherever the way your hips are designed. Like in Squat View's got a ton of information on that too, and talking about hip design, and like I think he's got like 2 guys on there. One's hips are way different than the other, and the way that they squat, it just what it takes to get to the same position. Their squats look totally different in order to get to that same position, and that's based on that. So you might have some squat or some hip issues that are causing that. Not that they're an issue that can't be repaired, but it's just something that you got to learn how to work with and what gets you into that position that you need to get. But
well, if you remember at the throwdown, that's when I came up to you and I was asking you about the psoas, because that's when I finally went to a physical therapist, because I was having issues kind of like Tony has now, where it's like it was just hurt and I couldn't do anything. Like anytime I put pressure on my back, it would quit, and it was ended up finding out the psoas muscle was so tight that she's just like. So I did that where you step on the 2 scales to see how much weight you're placed, and I put 33 pounds more on this leg, on my left leg, than I did my right leg on the scale. It was 33 pounds off.
So like Matt's issue, he kind of had some issues there, and he sits in the tractor and he's like this the whole time.
Tractor,
I mean? He's got one hip loaded up way more than the other hip, and getting those hips to open up so that he could move efficiently, and that was kind of getting him neutral in that neutral plane to push up. You got to be in a vertical stacked position. You got to have your body neutral as it can be. So I don't know what you do for a living, Anthony, but if you sit for a lot, if you have those problems, but sitting is loaded hips. I mean, people that have to work at a desk, they got it rough, and getting that psoas, it actually not necessarily always tight. It's actually a weakness because it stays so closed that it doesn't get strong, right? Because it's always closed, it's always shortened. So not only is it a tightness, it can be a tightness, but it's usually a weakness, and that's what causes. That's why I talked about anterior tilted pelvis and stuff like that. Those things will cause that your psoas, your glute medius, your piriformis can get in there and kind of affect some of that stuff. That's kind of like up in and around the top of your femur and your hips, kind of by your butthole a little bit. But there's a spot in there. If you went to your PT there and you talk to her, she kind of says, "Here, hold on, you might feel this." And they dig their thumb up in there, kind of right up near that spot. You're like, "Whoa, that'd be like your piriformis there. That'll get that." Your QL will cause that stuff too. So that's like a weird word, quadratum laborum, I think it is. But your QL will cause all that hip tightness. But I use a thing called the body wedge. It's this really oddly shaped piece of foam. I told Matt to get one. I don't know if he's got one or not, but it's been amazing for me. It's looks like the same material as like a foam roller, if you will, but it's cut into this really peculiar shape, kind of something like this, if you will. And it's made to dig right down into your piriformis. You kind of come right up from your iliac crest there, come up a little bit, and you dig that thing in there, and you can tip it rolls. You can rock side to side, and then you can reach your hands out and your arms out, and you can really dig into that piriformis. If you have somebody there to help you, they can do it too. but it takes a little bit of knowledge. I know how to, my wife gets tight hips from sitting from work, and I know how to find that spot and kind of loosen it up and let it go and getting that stuff freed up. But it's, showing you and then kind of giving you an example or having some videos, kind of tough to replicate what I'm trying to say, but it's not that tough. It's just a matter of hitting it, and then you'll feel better, but you'll have to hit it for a few weeks in a row. And it'll be one of those things where it's like, it just goes away and you're like, you kind of forget about it. And you're like, oh yeah, it went away. I don't even feel that anymore. It's like, I have so much more mobility because it happens so subtly. It's like being away from your kids for a couple of days, it looks like they grow, but you never see it when you're around them every day. You don't even notice it.
You said it's called a hip wedge?
A body wedge. You can get them on Amazon. I think they're like $39. There's like 3 different colors. Black is the most firm, which is what I use, and I would suggest you guys use, because once you go black, you never go back.
That's what I was about to say.
I know. That's why I said it first. You see how I beat you to things so that you can't use them against me?
Yeah, Don't worry. I'll find some. You'll slip up. You'll say something. That's what working on that. And then like another thing, because I think my issue is like when I was sleeping. So now I sleep with a pillow between my legs. Like when I sleep on my side. Like before, I would basically like scissor my legs. So like if I was laying on my side, my left leg would go that, and I would sleep like that all night, which is like the worst thing on earth apparently. Which I never thought of. Huh?
I think it would like smash your nuts.
No, you push them through and they come out the back.
You don't have any.
No, they're all 3 of them are huge, dude. I'm telling you, they're fucking.
Well, that one in the middle is supposed to be your wiener, not your ball.
No, that's on the bottom. What you got?
You got an innie? You got an innie?
Yeah. I got 3 balls and an innie. God damn it! What the fuck was I?
That one Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. The aliens with the girl with the 3 boobs.
Yeah, so that's what I had the legs messed up, and like that was like the worst thing on earth apparently, and I never knew that, and that's the way I slept every single night. And I'd wake up and everything was tighter and shit and sore, and I was like, must have been from the workout, like it's one of those things I never thought about until someone's like, hey, no, that's not how you're supposed to do it. Right. So now
I'm a huge advocate. Sleep on your back, man. Take the time to learn it. Take the time to figure it out. It's good for you. It's gonna benefit you, keeping your body neutral. You can do small things like putting a small pillow under your knee just to keep yourself. I got a big butt, so my butt will it'll make me kind of like extend my lower back. So I keep a small pillow under my knee sometimes so that I don't have too much of an arch. And my pillow is like this thick, not so. Sometimes I sleep with no pillow. I'll take like a roll of socks and I'll put them under my neck, and I sleep flat like I'm in a casket. But I do it over. I repeat it. I wake up even if I wake up and I'm out of place, I reposition and get all situated every time. So it's part of recovery.
Yeah. Do you do hot and cold showers too and stuff like that?
Yep, I do. I like contrast showers. I do like Epsom salt baths. If I had more amenities to do so, I would definitely do. My wife and I'd like to get a sauna. Just for the health attributes, health effects of that.
We know a guy.
Craig Lottie?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I need to find a used one, not one of the $3 million new ones. They're nice.
Right.
I want a hot tub this year. That's on my goal list. Have a good business here and get a hot tub. Cold tub's a little out of the question because I think $50,000 is a bit of a price for a cold tub.
Get one of the black tubs like Matt has, and buy a couple bags of ice and use it. You're not going to use it how often?
I'll do Juji Mufu. Did you see his that he made? It's the same thing, but he ended up building like a nice frame around it, insulating. He like triple insulated it. So when he puts ice in there, that ice will last for 2 or 3 days. That water never gets more than like 40 degrees without the ice in there. So And you see Juji, so he does that weird shit all the time where he just sits in that for like 20 minutes.
Well, and Juji's like, I kind of look at him and, obviously he's like a nut job, but look at his flexibility and mobility and the ability to do it with like under load and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, he's going to pop something. There it goes. He's going to blow out his freaking this, or he's going to blow that out, or you dumbass. But he's tempered his body in order to be able to handle that. So I give it to him, man. He's taken it to a level that's pretty impressive that he can do what he can do, and be still explosive and strong and everything that he can do. You would assume there's some other factors that are played into the vascularity and stuff like that. And those things tend to have a negative effect on tendons and ligaments and joints and stuff like that. And he is very, very flexible. So I give it to him. Whatever he's doing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stem cells, I don't know, maybe it's stem cell stuff.
That's something that, well, I can tell you the truth though, if I had the money and like I got injured or some shit like that, like I would be on board too, because the science don't like. Look at Jerry Pritchard and him. It's like, you tear your hamstring deadlifting 1,000 pounds, and then all of a sudden, like 4 or 5 weeks later, he's back in the gym pulling 800 pounds again for reps. And it's like a normal person.
Is that stem cell? That's right, not stem cell, but
I forget. Well, Nick Best does the stem cell.
He was doing plasma.
And what Luke Martinez just went over and did it.
Yeah, Columbia. There's been a lot of people going down there. A lot of MMA fighters go down there to the Columbia. I just saw Bo Hightower was just down there.
There's the same company in the United States, but what the United States can do and what they can do over there is two different things. You can get like a couple hundred over there. You get like 400,000 stem cells or something like that. This is whatever the laws allowed there. So it has some I don't know the details behind it. I'm not researching it because I'm not in that market right now, but
yeah. Well, it's like I was saying though, it's like a normal person, like if like a normal average Joe tears his hamstring, that's like what, 6 months, 7 month recovery back to being normal again. That's just for walking and doing. Then all of a sudden, like, how the hell do you tear your hamstring? Like Brian Shaw completely tears your hamstring, and all of a sudden, like 8 weeks later, you're back to pulling 600, 700, 800 pounds, like training like nothing ever happened.
Well, it wasn't even that long. It was 2 months later. He was at Worlds competing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We want to get down that wormhole of extracurricular supplements, but in my opinion, regardless of the sport, not strongman, but I'm talking mostly professional sports that make big money, I think that they're all potentially using some sort of something.
Oh, yeah.
And they just haven't. They're only tested for XX and X, right?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, we're going to ban this substance now. That's because we banned this one because we've already made another one that's going to not, it's going to be better or whatever than that one, and so on and so forth. And I get it. You don't want that. Like they made a big deal about Thor. Like they tried to make that big deal and they didn't want to advertise it and ESPN and all that stuff. It's like, I get it. You don't want to exploit it because you don't want kids and these young guys that are doing whatever it is they're doing is absolutely stupid. But so I get the reason to not exploit it, but we also don't like politics, right? Don't be stupid. Don't play dumb with us. We're not smart enough to figure it out, and everything is that's how they treat us. Is we're just dumb people and we don't know better. And there's I guess there are a lot of those too, but that's there's stuff out there that's okay. That's legal. That's just not tested. So they can do whatever they can do. So, and more power to them. They got the resources to do it. And obviously the NFL and the MLB and all those guys, like you said, you got running backs coming back after a couple of weeks after tearing their MCL or whatever. And it's like, how is that possible? That's like a career-ending injury in normal times, but they got the means. So more power to them.
The money. Let's say if you got the money, you can do anything.
Right. The technology's out there. You guys know who Ben Greenfield is?
Mm-mm.
So he's into like really crazy, wild, one-off ways of like recovery. his plan is to live forever, live for eternity type thing. And he does all sorts of like wild stuff. I remember listening to one of his podcasts or something before. Joe Rogan does a lot with him, but he was making like $4,000 to $5,000 per client for a month, just to have him like me having a client for training. They're paying him $4,000 or $5,000 a month for his information. But he does some really wild, interesting. He kind of uses himself as like a test lab rat, if you will. But
He's been on
his
the
goal
Power
is,
Project, right?
huh?
He's been on the Power Project, right? Podcast.
I don't know what. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that Power Project, but I'm
Bell.
assuming
That's Mark Bell's.
I'm assuming he's been on everything. I mean, everywhere in every podcast, everybody. He's like elite when it comes to this. You know, he's the forefront of this stuff. But but what is kind of cool too is he also is like, okay, this is out there, this is possible, but here's a natural way of doing it. Like it's far less invasive. You can get a lot of the same attributes from it, and it's kind of something that more average people can do. So he's got a lot of interesting stuff, but some of it's like, dude, this guy is nutty. He's got to be crazy. You know, he does like this crazy infrared light on his nuts because the way your skin, you know, the way your skin absorbs light is different. And he's got it all scientifically. He's got a reason. I mean, it's proven out. And they do all sorts of different. I mean, there's endless amounts of things, and the things he consumes and the different things that he does is just wild. But the information's out there. It's just crazy stuff out there. Means and money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. My shorts are starting to stick. My legs are sticking to the chair. It's really bothering me.
Hey, go ahead and tilt that camera down for me, bud. There we go.
Oh, nice.
That's $20, everyone in chat. That's send that PayPal or not PayPal, Cash App. Cash App, that's Nick.
It's funny. Okay, I got to ask this question. My wife was asking me this the other day. She says, "Do you think that you can pay a stripper with Cash App? Can you do that? Is that like a thing?" I'm like, I don't know.
I bet you could. Well,
I went
nowadays.
I went to one strip club for my buddy's bachelor party, and so now I'm like a connoisseur. Like I know everything about strip clubs. No, and that was like 7 years ago. So she's like, "So can they take a cat?" I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. If they do they have a little square on their freaking
like a barcode scanner thing. Dude, if I was a stripper, I would, because any way I could get more money, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do it.
I know, but
I'll tattoo a little QR code on my thigh that you have to fucking scan.
That's exactly.
Like, I don't give a shit.
I think that's what she said. You just have a little QR code on you, and you'll be all good to go. Right?
Yeah, you
hopefully that baby powder smell doesn't get in the way.
It's coconut, baby. It's all about the coconut.
Whatever. I don't know.
So Cory sounds like a connoisseur.
I've been to a strip club twice in my life, and they were both on Tuesdays, so it wasn't really the prime fucking cream of the crop when I went. Yeah,
right.
Like, Tuesday afternoon, it was popping.
You ever go to Bisco's?
What's that?
No. Oh man, that's a Michigan treasure. It's probably one of the most infamous strip clubs there is. I mean, I've heard it on like Drew and Mike and the Riff and all those stuff, and all the different radio stations back in the day. They all talk about it. It's in Croswell, I think. It's a really dirty strip club, and it's they've had one-legged women and pregnant women, and
sounds like
just very interesting place. There's a guy that sits there, and before the girls take money, he goes and they look to him. And then he gives them the blessing, go ahead, because he's going to watch how much they get, so he can get his cut afterwards, and all that stuff. It was just the weirdest place. But
see if I can figure out where that's at.
It sounds like Stelly's up in Harrison.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's been I don't know, 20 years or freaking not that long, but a lot of years since I've been there. 15 years, something. Oh, got a kid waking up?
No, it's geese.
Oh.
I thought that's what it was. I thought it was kids, but no, it's geese. Dude,
how many kids you got, Anthony?
2.
2.
6 and 3.
All right, I got a 3, almost 8, a 10-year-old, and a 15-year-old daughter. So, yep. That was weird. Weird transition. We're talking about Biscos, and now I'm talking about your kids.
Yeah.
It's good to be that night.
I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired.
Late. I got to judge a powerlifting meet in the morning.
You're doing what?
I'm judging the state powerlifting meet for kids, high school.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I got to be there at like fucking 7 in the morning.
Where's it at?
Millington. They're splitting it up this year. There's 2 locations because of COVID. Because they got like 6.
Away from you.
Yeah, they got like 600 kids that they gotta do,
wow.
but they can only have 200 per building or some shit, whatever the thing is now.
I think it's 200 indoors.
So that's gonna be. Well, at least I don't have to deal with the parents. That's the worst part about judging high school kids is the parents. Like my son, he trained all year and he squatted. And he did it. He did so good, and you red lighted him like he didn't even bend his fucking legs. They're like, I don't care. He tried so hard. He worked his ass off to get here. Yeah, he should have worked his ass off.
Oh, wait, Karen. He should have.
I've had people yell at me like dads, like, what do you know about lifting? I'm like, well, I know that she didn't even get the bar off of her chest on the bench, and I had to have the spotters help her up, so that doesn't count. Like, right. But she never let go of the bar, so why'd you fail her? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Fuck me. White lights for everybody.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I got to coach hockey tomorrow, and hockey's nice because it's, well, you gotta be careful, but I'm a little bit more of a stern coach. That's kind of what hockey is. You kind of learn, like, you just learn that. But there'll be, I warned a couple parents. I'm like, well, I coach different than the coaches that coach regularly. I'm like, okay, we know, no worries.
We win.
Well, and I haven't really coached a lot of these kids before, so it'll be kind of new, but they're going to look at me like, who the heck is this guy? And now he's yelling at me. And they're 8-year-olds, you know what I mean? So it's
get your fucking head in the game.
No, but it is what it is. I just, we try to make progress. First thing is to have fun, but
yeah,
it's you can get into it. Everybody's judgmental. You know what I mean? There's just everybody wants to be judgmental, and they don't understand it, and their kid's the best, and everybody needs a trophy and all that stuff. And I think the world of my kids, and my kids are good athletes, and I think they do really well. And I talk probably way too much about them in the sense of being good, and because I'm proud of them, and I want them to be, and they all got room for improvement. But it's a tough, it's tougher times than ever, obviously, with the way all the stuff is going. And what's the word? Everybody's entitled to something. Entitlement. There it is.
Yeah.
But,
well, the worst part is not only that too, but if someone disagrees with you, it's like you're gonna lose your job because a parent complained because their kid ain't, like, that's the worst part now. It's like they don't say like, hey, not everyone's gonna be a winner in life. They fire the coach, or like they get rid of. We had a local school that had that where the kid wanted to quit the team. He's like, if you want to quit, leave. And then the parent went to the school board and said, hey, he told my kid to quit, and now my kid's sad, and they fired him. And it's just like all over something. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, you're not gonna change.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely seen coaches take it too far too. There's that too. It's not like it's a one-way street. There's two things. It's crazy because hockey is an expensive sport, and I had to actually pay to do the training to become a coach. Like, I got to pay this, to do this, and it's a USA model, so a lot of it's off of Olympics and stuff like that. And the talk about you can't be in the locker rooms with this kid. You got to be two parents. You can never drive a kid in a car. I'm like, this is what the world has come to. You got to worry about what people are going to do to the kids and stuff like that. I'm like, this is just crazy. So, and now I got to volunteer to be a coach, and then I got to worry about somebody's, something, and nothing would ever happen, but everything is subjective, right? You can't, like you said, you hurt somebody's feelings, and now you're risking your, it's just crazy.
But, well, cool, guys. I think we'll go ahead and end it there. We're just over 3 hours. I appreciate you coming on this week, Nick. We definitely want to get you on in the future again.
Cool.
talk some more in depth, more about maybe some physio type stuff rather than being all over the place like we were, which was fun tonight. Anyways.
Yeah, we were wild.
Yeah, for sure. All right, definitely appreciate you, and
Thank you for having me.
have
Have a
fun
good night,
traveling.
guys.
Have fun traveling up this way tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be up Glenwood. So, all right, have a good night, guys. Take it easy.
See you, man.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, that was definitely like I thought that was only gonna be like an hour-long conversation.
Yeah,
But with Nick, he has so much, experience and knowledge and shit. Like we can go on for another 3-4 hours without even.
oh, for sure.
But so you working the next 55 days in a row again?
Yes, definitely for sure. No, I start back tomorrow, and then my next night off will be Saturday. So
That's actually not bad because before you'd be like, yeah, I start tomorrow and my next day off is April 4th.
exactly. So let me cover this again real quick, and then we can get chatting some more if you want.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to cover this again real quick, guys. Two things here real quick. Redcon one weekend deal, 25% off with the discount code K925. And then if you spend $50, you get a free K9 veteran shirt and hoodie. If you spend $85, you're going to get both shirts and the hoodie. And if you spend over, not talking about you, K9. If you spend over $115, you're going to get free shipping, and a percentage of the proceeds will be donated to Spike's K9 Fund. So if you go to the site, there's going to be more information about right here about a little bit more about Spike's K9 Fund. Next thing I want to talk about real quick is Outclass Nutrition's Kickstarter. They are still trying to get to their goal of $7,000. They have 12 days to go. They got 52 backers at $2,153. There's multiple different ways that you can help back this product. You can pledge however much you want just by clicking this top box. They have a 7, a 12, a 22, a 27, a 29, a 50, and a $75 different backing. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but different ways to support the project. So just wanted to cover that again real quickly. And then my monthly giveaway this month, since I do one every single month, is going to be, and I think hopefully, I guess got a brand new phone today, so I'm hoping everything got saved in here. Oh man. All right, it didn't, so I'm gonna have to re-put all that in. Luckily, I remember everybody. Cory ordered this month, right?
Yep.
You ordered last weekend. Jeff that's in here, ordered a couple weeks ago, and then I had a coworker place 2 orders as well. Jeff there. So what I'm going to do this month for my giveaway is I'm going to do either a pre-workout stack or a fat burner stack. Your choice. Because I have a couple different things I can give away right now. I have too much stuff in my cabinets is basically what I'm saying right now. So my 16 different containers of Total War up here I want to thin down. And I just got an email while we were doing this. I just won another basically a pre-workout stack. I just won a Total War and a Big Noise. So I got too much stuff right now. I'm getting more sent to me right now. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give your choice of a Total War of the ones that I have, and I stated in my last video, but I can't remember what I actually have. I have like a grape. I'm going to forget the different flavors.
I got the green apple.
Yeah, I told you I got rid of that one that I had. I got a grape, a strawberry lemonade, and there was another one that I have. Strawberry lemonade, a grape, and must not be on here anymore. I might not be getting rid of that one then. And okay, so anyways, those 2, green apple or strawberry lemonade of Total War, and then Big Noise. I'm gonna give away one of the Big Noise that I have which believe I have a rainbow candy and a sour gummy bear. So that's going to be your choice of if you want the pre-workout stack, or if you want the fat burner stack. Switch over here to energy and fat burning. So it'll be your choice of double tap, either in what two do I have? Blue raspberry and orange crush. And then I'm also going to throw in a Yohimbine HCl, which is sold out, you can't currently get, and a CLA. So yeah, you'll be able to get your choice of a fat burning stack or a pre-workout stack. So
Nice.
that's my giveaway for this month. Bigger than I've ever done before. I normally do one product, but it's my birthday month, and I feel like giving something away. So,
God, you're
That's
getting old.
yeah, I'm not as old as Nick.
Really? I thought you were 36 too.
I'll be 34 this month.
Oh, well,
So,
I guess
Thanks.
I'm sorry. I meant, yeah, you look like you're 33.
I am 33 for another
Oh, look at that! Perfect. Look at that. I
for
got
another
it.
16 days.
Any big plans for your birthday? You going away? Going camping?
Not going. Well, I'm gonna be working.
No surprise.
But all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end this podcast here. Damn, I guess I'm old. Jeff, you are old. I don't know how old. Lori, if Lori's still in here, she's the youngest. So yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and end the podcast here. Definitely was a good one tonight. I'm not sure when we'll get the next one. Maybe we'll try to do one next Saturday.
Yeah, maybe even if it's just like a shorter, just a bullshit like back where we can watch like a YouTube video and critique it or something like that. It doesn't have to be.
Jeff just turned 48 today.
Hey, happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Sorry you have to spend it with us.
Well, we were probably the first person to tell him that though. So.
Well.
Oh, you mean yesterday or today? Well, it's 12:30, so it's hard.
For us, it was yesterday. He's in California, so.
Oh man.
So
Oh
it's
yeah,
still,
so it's 3 hours.
It's still his birth. It's still his birthday over there.
Oh, happy birthday over there.
Happy birthday over there, eh?
Over there, eh? Down there in the land down under, eh? Oh man, it's late. I gotta be up in like 6 hours.
Yeah, that's why I figured when you both said you had to be up early tomorrow, I'm like, well, it's time to March. Yeah, this is yesterday for us now, but yeah. Yeah, when I heard you both have to be up early tomorrow for something, I'm like, well, we better start cutting this short. But the shorter, it's already 3 hours going on.
Yeah,
so.
like I said, I thought we were only going to go for like an hour, maybe hour 20 minutes tops. No,
Yeah,
we're at 3 hours.
I mean, nothing against him, but it didn't sound like he wanted to jump on tonight, or we were going to talk for a while first. I'm like, that's what the whole podcast is about. It's just talking. So
yeah, we don't have like a format that we follow, you know. I was like, it's more fun that way. I don't like to sit there and be like, what did you do to start training? I like to like ask you questions about things that after you start like, yeah, then I was a race car driver, then all of a sudden I want to be. I'm like, oh wait, what? Like that's what I want to learn.
Sure. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the podcast, and we'll catch you guys all in the next one. Hopefully, you guys join us again. Thanks for tuning in tonight.